The information shared in these conversations and videos are intended for general knowledge and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered as legal advice or professional guidance. Additionally, any documentation or references to specific content are solely for the purpose of discussion and understanding. It does not imply endorsement, promotion, or support of said content. The views expressed in these videos and/or conversation are those of the individuals involved and do not represent any official stance or opinion. The content you are about to experience may contain strong language, including explicit words and phrases. This language is used for artistic expression and may be integral to the storyline or character development. It is important to note that the use of such language does not endorse or promote offensive behavior. Viewer discretion is advised, and please enjoy the show responsibly. Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. The Canadian Copyright Act, Section 29, allows an individual to use copyright-protected materials when creating a new work, such as a mashup, and to post the new work online on a website like YouTube. Fair dealing provision for specific purposes like research, private study, education, parody, satire, criticism, review, and news reporting.
Step up, step up! Yeah! We pledge! We pledge! We pledge! We pledge! Yeah! Step in the arena, mind locked and loaded. Truth on my blade, every line's exploded. You swing your words, I counter with precision. Battle of reason, this is my mission. Raise your fist, let them know. No. Raise your voice, let it blow. Woo! We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Step back, I'm a scholar and a fighter. Every claim you throw, I strike tighter. Logic and power, I never fold. In the war of words, I'm solid gold. Raise your fist, let them know. Whoa. Raise your voice, let it blow. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Every thought a fortress, every claim a storm. We forge a truth where chaos takes form. Ideas ignite like lightning through the night. In the war of minds, we bring the light. Step in, feel the heat. Truth is my weapon, never beat. Raise them high, break the ceiling. With a fire, with a feeling. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason.
Welcome, everybody, to Swords of Reason right here on the Speakeazy show, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. This is where logic meets passion. All right, if you're new here, the format is simple. Each debater gets 10 minutes for their opening statement, followed by 5 minutes of uninterrupted rebuttals. After that, we enter the arena for a full hour of back and forth debate. This is where the iron can sharpen the iron and the arguments clash. And then finally, each side delivers a 5-minute closing statement to lock in their case. When that's done, we're going to move into a 30-minute Q&A. I'm going to drop the Q&A in the chat, but keep in mind, Super Chats, PayPals, Cash Apps, these questions will get priority. And if they fill up the entire 30 minutes, we may not get to the free ones. So if there's something you want guaranteed to be asked, make sure you send it through one of the priority options. And once the formal debate wraps up, we open the doors to the for the Chaos and Chill panel, where the community can hop in, challenge the debaters, ask follow-ups if debaters choose to stick around, because that part is optional for them, but it's always where things get wild regardless, all right? Today's debate prompt: the U.S. should not be fighting Iran in 2026. And for the affirmative of the prompt, we have Vigilante, the voice behind the Vigilante TV, a returning presence to the Swords of Reason, known for sharp political commentary and high energy gaming streams. All right. He's built his main following over on Twitch with additional content on YouTube. So if you enjoy the bold takes and unfiltered analysis, Vigilante may be your guy. All right. You can find his channel linked down in the description. And for the negative, we have JS Urban Adventures, a lifestyle streaming channel known for showcasing his wide range of hobbies and interests, breaking down hot news, and sharing political, philosophical, and theological views. He's also recognized for his UFC fight reviews, spot on character impersonations, and what many call the coolest Bible study on YouTube. All right. And you can also find his link in the description below. With that being said, we're going to get right into opening statements. We're going to be starting with Vigilante. So, Vigilante, whenever you're ready for your opening statement, I will start the timer up with your voice.
All right. So tonight we're going to hear a lot of cope from the side that pretends they want to be America first. Simply put, starting another pointless, endless war in the Middle East is far from putting America first. You can say it's about protecting an ally in Israel, but this is cucked Israel first bullshit. We have plenty of issues here at home, the major one being an affordability crisis, and war, and this war specifically, exacerbates this issue. Let's run through the quick history of the U.S.-Iranian relationship. We committed a coup and overthrew a democratically elected leader and reinstituted the monarchy of Iran via Operation Ajax in 1953. This lasted until 1979. The Iranian people fought to overthrow this U.S.-backed monarchy, and the Shah being overthrown began hostilities once again. This resulted in a hostage crisis at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran when we decided that we wanted to try to bring the Shah here over to the U.S. instead of letting justice run its course. We shot down a Iranian passenger jet, and then we also backed Iraq in their war with Iran. And then finally, more recently, in more recent history, Bush effectively went Iran bad, did absolutely nothing, and aside of throwing some sanctions on them because they were supposedly working towards building nuclear bombs. And then finally, we got a president that actually did something to try to stop the tensions and actually release the tensions with Obama, and try doing the Iranian nuclear deal, where we actually allowed they actually allowed us to come in and make sure they weren't making nukes in exchange for us giving them a little bit of money back that we stole from them while we were ruling their country by proxy. And then come Trump during his first term, he throws the nuclear deal out the window, throws back in place the sanctions that were placed on them previously, and continued to escalate the tensions for no apparent reason. And now we're at war with Iran. This is because this administration is the bitch of whoever gobbles Trump's dick the hardest. And at this point in time, that would be Bibi Netanyahu. So the appearance of that they want to give off is that the reason we're doing this is because Bibi can't get his fucking mouth off Trump's dick. But that's not the real problem here. It's the return to the imperialist expansionism politics that we did from basically since World War II ended, and we're finally starting to get out of. But what did we expect from the president that snuggles up to the two biggest expansionist leaders of the modern era, and Vladimir Putin and Bibi Netanyahu? Trump wants to make America great again, right? He never told us how, but it's pretty damn clear now how he wants to do this. He wants the return of the American empire. He couldn't care less about you or if you could afford food or housing or gas. That's not the point. He wants America to return to its oligarchical fox democracy past. This is simply a feeble extinction burst of a dying ideology that claims that we can bring peace to the world by conquering its barbarians, the same ideology that Same empire building ideology that led to the downfall of the Roman Empire, the German Empire, and the follow-up, the 1940s Germany. The far right idea that we must rule the world to save it has mentally plagued America since the start of the Cold War. Gaslighting our population that sacrificing the war machine will make America great. It's not great. It's not becoming great. The fact is, America is worse off since this ideology began. And it's worse off now because of this war. Gas prices are rapidly rising with no daylight in sight. We're currently sitting at an average of $4.12 a gallon and climbing. But we all know how bad an oil shortage is. We're living through it right now. And this is just one of the many reasons why we shouldn't be fighting Iran. Why should we as Americans fight and die for a country halfway across the world from us? We were almost entirely out of the Middle East prior to this. Iran posed no threat to the US nor US citizens. The only reason we are in this fight is to die for Israel. Americans should not be in this fight. We should not be fighting and dying for an ally that wants to commit acts of aggression just to escalate a war against another country. Let's just be honest here. Israel started this war and dragged us into it. We should have hung Israel out to dry and told them to deal with the consequences of their own actions instead of babying them like a spoiled little bitch. What does the Bible say about children? Spare the rod, spoil the child. Well, Israel needs the fucking rod right now. Because with America running to its defense every single time it wants to start shit, it's pretty fucking spoiled. And I'll cede the rest of my time.
All right. Thank you for that opening statement. With that, we're going to hand the mic over to JS. JS, whenever you're ready for your opening statement, just jump in and I'll start the timer up with your voice.
All right. I'm going to preface this whole debate with a little confession. Not a concession, but I confess that I'm actually not a fan of war. Shocker. Even though I love reading stories about them and watching movies about them, and I play a bit of a sociopath as my online persona, I truly don't like war. If we lived in the Garden of Eden, there would be no war, but we don't live in paradise. We live in modern day America. I am here to justify President Trump's actions in Iran in 2026. If we have a semantic or philosophical debate on the exact wording of this prompt, then I would probably concede that nobody should ever be fighting anyone in a perfect world. But again, we don't live in a perfect world, do we? We live in a world where war is inevitable and fighting never ceases. Therefore, my oughts in this debate will be based in reality and not an idealistic, peaceful utopia. I primarily support fighting in Iran in 2026 for three main reasons. These are pragmatic, ideologic, militaristic, and economic arguments, which all point toward the same conclusion. And all these points justify my support and loyalty for my president's current actions. I'll begin with my pragmatic and geopolitical argument for shutting down Iranian weapon manufacture and stockpiling. Of course, nuclear weapon capability is a commonly referenced argument for attacking Iran's nuclear infrastructure in order to prevent them from reaching or maintaining 60% enriched uranium production. In March of 2026, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff reported that Iran currently has enough enriched uranium to produce 11 nuclear weapons. And peace talks, after Trump's recent attacks, are demanding that said uranium must be diluted down to 20%. These peace talks would not be happening if not for Trump's impressive show of force and persistent attacks on Iranian nuclear infrastructure from America and our allies. I agree with all of these strategies, but the nukes aren't even my primary concern or reason for justifying attacks with Iran. I'm more concerned with the thousands of short, medium, and long-range ballistic weapons, drones, sea mines, and air defense systems that Iran has amassed and concentrated around the Persian Gulf and specifically the Strait of Hormuz. They know they cannot beat the U.S. and Israel in combat or direct war, so they instead use their vast collection of weaponry to shut down and defend the world's most vital energy transport waterway, effectively enabling them to hold the world's oil hostage. And this cannot be allowed. After our recent attacks, Israeli and American intelligence reported that we have depleted Iran's weapon stockpile by somewhere between 33 and 50%. Yes, this action led to Iran shutting down the strait as expected, and this shutdown may have hurt some American pockets at the gas pump, but you can trust that it hurt China much more, which I'll talk about more shortly. My second argument for why fighting in Iran is necessary, not only now in 2026, but consistently for the last 5,000 years, is based on ideological differences. This isn't a war that has been happening for 47 years. It's a war for all of history. This is good versus evil, God versus Satan. The Shiite Muslim regime explicitly demands its hateful worldview spread and dominate the entire planet. With Iran as the primary backer for groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and the PLO, fighting this evil becomes unavoidable. The list of terrorist attacks from Muslim extremists runs long, and after 4 years of an essentially wide open border in America, we see the effects of this here in America. When I point to attacks like September 11th or the recent attempted New York bombing, my opponent may simply argue that the Taliban, ISIS, or Al-Qaeda are not related to Iran. I would argue that the root of all these groups is the same, radical Islam, but for the sake of this debate, I'm fine with focusing on the main terrorist groups funded by Iran. Hezbollah has been the purveyor of many bombings of high-profile American and Israeli diplomatic locations, such as the 1983 U.S. Embassy bombing in Beirut, which killed 63 people, 17 of which were American, the 1984 U.S. Embassy Annex bombing in Beirut, the 1992 Israeli embassy attack, and the 1994 AMIA bombing, both in Argentina. The Iran-backed Palestinian group Hamas killed approximately 1,200 people in Israel on October 7, 2023. Lebanese bombings and attacks by the PLO and Hamas have also been regular for decades. These are people who believe they will be martyrs rewarded in heaven for a suicide bombing that murders as many Americans, Israelis, Christians, or Jews as possible. These people have a deep-seated hatred for everything American woven into their entire worldview and culture, which you can hear clearly in their chants of death to America. When asked about this chant 7 years ago, the late not-so-great Ayatollah Khomeini explained that death to America was not about the citizens of America, but our leadership, referring specifically to Donald Trump, claiming, quote, "As long as America continues its wickedness, the Iranian nation will not abandon death to America." My last argument is economic and boils down simply to energy dominance, specifically oil and natural gas, and if we should allow Iran to wield the power over this crucial resource after constantly demonstrating they cannot be trusted. This argument ties in with my aforementioned point regarding weapon stockpiles. As I said previously, these weapons can be used to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, giving Iran control of the world's energy. Iran cannot be worked with or negotiated with due to everything I mentioned in my second point. This power over oil may seem like a reason the U.S. should not fight in Iran, but I would disagree. Through Trump's strategic bombings and depletion of Iran's weapons, as well as depletion from their use of weapons like underwater mines to block the strait, we have effectively weakened their primary defenses. Yes, it has hurt some Americans by raising gas prices, but you know who a closed Strait of Hormuz hurts more? China. 90% of Iran's total oil exports goes to China, which represents 13 to 15% of their total crude oil use. Similar to Trump's recent operations in Venezuela, we saw action taken on enemies providing energy to other enemies of America. Trump is sending a clear message that this will not be taken lightly. Besides oil, the economic effects of a war in Iran will be unpredictable, but likely beneficial if we use history as a reference. Typically, wars will boost the economy, lead to job increases, and stock market growth. If Iran keeps the strait closed, the whole world's economy will suffer. And in times of market unsurety or instability, investors tend to make the safest bet. And in times of war, America is the safest bet. This is a phenomenon known as flight to quality or flight to safety. I stole that from Easy. All three of these reasons to fight Iran and win are valid independently, but the three of them combined lead to a dangerous threat from Iran that will inevitably need to be dealt with at some point. Ecclesiastes 3:8 says there is a time for love and a time for hate, a time for war and a time for peace. And I believe my president when he says now is that time for war. In reality, I don't even see this as much of a war anyways, yet. It has not been declared a war. Ceasefire and peace talks are already on the table, and victory may already be secured. This is my optimist way of looking at current events, and I understand things could still go crazy any day. But if they do, I believe America will be ready. I see Trump playing a game of geopolitical chess right now, and he's winning. I voted for Trump because of his economic policy, immigration policy, and his foreign policy. I loved that he was a peacetime president in his first term, and he promised no new wars. And although I had my doubts about this Iran situation at first, I've grown confident that Trump knows what he's doing. And he only has so much time left before God knows who takes his place after the next election. So he must assert dominance and secure peace through strength before that happens. With all that said, I'm ready to get into this debate. I hope my opponent is prepared for a midnight hammer wrapped in an epic fury during this contest. Let's get it on.
Thank you for that opening statement. All right, with that, we are going to get into the rebuttal round. Okay, each debater will have 5 minutes uninterrupted to directly respond to their opponent's opening argument. So this is not a back and forth yet, no interjections. And when you're 5 minutes up, we go to the next side, and then we'll get into the open floor. So Vigilante, you'll be up first for the rebuttals. 5 minutes on the clock. Floor is yours whenever you are ready. I will start that timer up with your voice.
All right, so we wanted to talk. You mentioned the peace talks quite a few times, that, and using that as an excuse as to why you don't believe this is a war, and why you don't think this is going to last very long. Just so you know, I know you've been asleep. The peace talks fell through today. Iran is attacking Israel again, and Israel is attacking Lebanon. Just so you know, the peace talks are gone. That's not happening, and we're blockading the Strait of Hormuz as well. So. Yeah, not just Iran has shut down the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. has also shut down the Strait of Hormuz as of today. Just so you know. The nukes thing. Well, the thing about that is the majority of their nuclear production goes towards energy, and it goes towards chemotherapy. They have enriched uranium. Obviously, you need it for those two things. Whether or not they end up getting nukes, well, that's going to be the fault of Donald Trump because of the fact that he's the one that pulled us out of the Iranian nuclear deal. That the whole point of that was to prevent them from fucking getting nukes. You mentioned the weapon stockpiles. They're a fucking country, dude. Their military is going to have weapon stockpiles, and putting it on the Strait of Hormuz is just strategic placement. The only reason that even became a problem is because of Israel and Trump's aggression towards Iran in the first place. It wouldn't have been a problem if we would have left Iran the fucking hell alone, or didn't let Israel get their ass kicked for fucking with Iran in the first place, which honestly we should have fucking done. As far as the Strait of Hormuz, they do control the Strait of Hormuz. That's kind of the point of geography. You know who else could control the Strait of Hormuz if they actually put effort towards it? Fucking Saudi Arabia. They're literally right next to it as well. They could be actually doing something. We have all these allies in the Middle East because of we want to fucking help the Middle East and these Muslim countries do better, but we don't actually exploit that and actually make countries like the UAE and Saudi Arabia actually put their money where their fucking mouth is. We just let them buy up shit in our fucking country instead. As far as this being a religious war, yes, this is absolutely a religious war. It always has been a religious war, and that's one of the big reasons why it's so fucking stupid. You can sit here and say the terrorist attacks and shit are a whole reason as to why we should back Iran. Yes, Iran is one of the number one state sponsors of terrorism in the world. But the fact is, we caused that problem. We created the Mujahideen, who later became Al-Qaeda. And later branched off into basically every fucking terrorist group that exists today. We created that problem. Iran has just continued it. And we keep creating that problem by doing things like what we are doing right now. All that it does when you sit here and attack people and kill their family members is just radicalize them more. We are creating more terrorists right now by attacking these groups and attacking Iran and not just letting the Middle East sort it out itself. Well, the answer to the whole Middle Eastern problem is to just fucking abandon it and let it sort it out itself. Now, you brought up OPEC. OPEC, or you brought up who controls oil. Who controls oil isn't Iran. It isn't the Strait of Hormuz. Now, I will grant you that Iran does actually have a significant, does have some control over who of oil and control of the prices. This is via OPEC. The countries that are in OPEC are Algeria, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Libya, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Venezuela. A lot of those are our allies. Also, a lot of those are our enemies. What, are we going to go to war with the entirety of fucking OPEC to get rid of it? We've been trying to get rid of OPEC for the longest fucking time. That was one of the points of the Middle East. And we have failed. It's not going to go away because they are the ones that control oil. And it's not going to fucking change. Our deal with OPEC is the whole thing that made the United States the petrodollar. And that's one of the reasons why we have as much control over the oil prices and shit as we do and have influence over these countries. We already have influence over oil. We already have influence over its production because we're allied and protect most of the countries on the list. All of this does is it puts this in danger. I'll see the rest of my time.
All right. I'm just going to let you wrap it up there. Thank you for that. Rebuttal Vigilante. With that, we're going to hand over the mic back to JS. JS, whenever you're ready for your uninterrupted rebuttal, go ahead and I will start the timer with your voice.
All right, I'll start. I'll work through your opening and then I'll go to your rebuttal and respond to some of that. So I think the primary argument you made, your biggest argument, seems to be America first means being Israel cucks. Well, Israel is our ally, and we should stand by our allies. They're our strongest ally in the Middle East. I'd argue that one of our strongest allies in the world. We get a lot of weaponry from them. They're very high IQ people. They're innovative in that region. They're some of the best people, and they're our best ally in the Middle East. And they help us keep that wall up from those radical Muslims, those sleeper cells who came over Biden's open border. They help us protect us from them. You talked about how we installed the Shah and we had a U.S.-backed monarchy. You mean during the 50 years of peace that we had with Iran, when there weren't a lot of problems with Iran, when the Shah was in, when the Khomeini came in, instead of a U.S.-backed monarchy, they had a violent, radical Muslim theocracy that was anti-Western, hostile to the West. That was not better. The JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, was garbage. We removed our sanctions from Iran. We basically took our proverbial boot off of their neck, and we said, just don't make nukes. Yeah, well, what did they do? They continued doing it. They continued enriching uranium, and we had no say in it. The JCPOA was garbage, and that's why Trump ripped it up. You talked about the bitches gobbling Trump's nuts. Something about the bitches gobbling Trump nuts. You know who the bitches who are gobbling Trump's nuts are right now? Iran. Iran is the bitches gobbling Trump's nuts. So I hope they like it because, like you said, I am updated on what's happened today. The peace talks, the 3 days of peace talks that just happened with J.D. Vance and Witkoff and Kushner over the weekend, they did make progress in those. And there are more peace talks on the table since we blockaded the Strait. Blockading the Strait is also a great move. It's an awesome military move. We basically we can now let ships of our allies or people that we approve of go through the strait and not let any Iranian ships go through the strait. They're trying to go to Karg and they're trying to do shadow fleeting where they switch the flags on their boats and stuff. But we have, what do they call it? The Global Watcher. We have the Globe Watcher is this thing that flies around in the sky and we just watch them. We have amazing intel. And we can see if they're changing those flags. We can take those boats out. We what else? Comparison. You did an ad Hitlerium, of course. Usually, it's what is that? How long does it take for an internet debate to result to calling somebody Hitler? You did ad Hitlerium in your opening statement. Oil shortage. You talked about oil shortages in OPEC, and we're going to have an oil shortage. Right now, we have 120 ships coming into the Gulf of America to get oil from America because the strait is blocked. So we're producing oil. I think this also ties in with Venezuela, too. It seems like it was pretty strategic to get Venezuela first and then do this. I think that was all part of the plan. Again, you can hate Israel all you want, but that's our ally, and we stand with our ally. Even if your boy is fucking up, you still stand with your boy, and then you talk to him about it later. You say you need to get that in check. You don't just let your allies fall. I talked about the peace talks already. You said they're a military, so they should have weapons. They should just be allowed to stockpile weapons. They're our enemy. We should just let them stockpile weapons. If our enemies who want us dead and shout death to America are building up weapons that could wipe out LA or New York or something crazy like that, we should just let them do it because it's just a military. Just leave it alone. The problem will go away. They're like a cancer. You don't just let the cancer fester and grow. You have to treat it. You have to treat it to end it. Otherwise, it kills you. And I think we could talk more about OPEC in the thing, but those countries do set the prices on oil, but they'll work with us. Iran controls the transportation of said oil, so that's a problem. If they're our enemies, they're not trustworthy. We can't negotiate with them. We can't work with them, so we have to do something about it. That's it.
All right. Thank you for that rebuttal. All right. Great rebuttals from both sides. Before we move into the open hour back and forth, let me talk to the audience real quick. If you're watching right now, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to tonight's debaters. Okay, the links are in the description. We host all kinds of debates here on Swords of Reasons, politics, culture, ethics, internet topics, anything where reasoning and passion collide. So if you enjoy this format, make sure you stay locked in because I got a lot more coming for you. Okay. Also, reminder for the live chat after closing statements. Sorry, we're going to be doing a 30-minute Q&A. So I've already dropped the Q&A in the chat there for you guys. But remember, super chats, PayPal's, Cash Apps, these questions and comments will get priority. So if they fill up the whole 30 minutes, we may not get to the free ones. So if you have something you really want answered, send it through one of those priority options. We'll make sure it gets asked. And finally, thank you to both our debaters for being here tonight and bringing your perspectives into the arena. Whenever one of you is ready to start the open floor exchange, just jump in and I'll start the timer up with your voice.
So do you believe this narrative that Trump had no idea that they would block the Strait of Hormuz if we attacked them?
No, I think that he knew that was going to happen. Which is part of the reason why I think he's a fucking idiot for this.
Why? Do you know this hurts our enemies more than it hurts us? It hurts Russia. It hurts China. It makes them deal with us. It brings them to the table, the negotiating table, to deal with us.
You could argue that the blockade that we're doing now definitely hurts them more than us, but the Iran shutting down the Strait of Hormuz in general, in the first place, never did. But we also don't know if the blockade that we're doing is going to be as effective as you think it's going to be, because that just started today. So we don't actually know the results of that.
Okay. Well, I think it's going to be pretty effective. Right now it's looking like we've turned the Caribbean with Venezuela and now the Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf. We've turned this into a testing ground for next generation weaponry. We have stuff that they can't even compare to. There's no contest here. Like we've got remote controlled jet skis that roll around and run into mines and blow up the mines, and they're cheaper than missiles. We have so much stuff that they can't even touch us. So, like,
I mean,
at least
you say that, but at the same time, we both know that Iran has stockpiled so much fucking weaponry that, like you were talking about, that they've overrun the Iron Dome multiple times and not only have they the primary way that they've overrun the Iron Dome multiple times is by using cluster bombs or cluster missiles. So one of the things that they've stockpiled that has been very useful for them in their attacks against Israel it is cluster missiles, because the Iron Dome can't deal with those, because by the time it's in range of the Iron Dome, it's already split into like 80 different fucking missiles. So Israel's been fucking getting shredded because of this.
I don't know if they're getting shredded. What percentage of those get through? Like when they overload it. When they overload it, a very small percentage of those bombs get through compared to the total amount of them. And that Iron Dome is also contributing towards our technology when we're making the Golden Dome here in America. We're modeling that after the Iron Dome.
Yeah, the Golden Dome that we don't need because the fucking missile interception systems that we already have are 10 times more sophisticated. You do realize we have lasers that can shoot down missiles already, right?
What do you think? Technology goes backwards?
Switching to defense interception missiles versus the laser interceptions that we have now that are significantly more accurate. Yes, that is regressing technology.
So we're building a less effective missile defense system. That doesn't make any.
Yeah, that obviously it doesn't make any sense. But fucking Trump's a goddamn idiot. So what do you expect?
No, I think you're just wrong. I totally disagree. I think we're making a far more advanced missile defense system because countries are getting access to nukes. As time goes on and technology advances, we're going to have more and more enemies with stronger and stronger weapons. So we're going to build stronger defenses to defend against them. And we're going to aggress to take out those weapons.
Here's the thing. Laser defense systems are significantly more effective because they travel effectively just below light speed because, well, they're giant fucking military-sized lasers.
More effective than satellites?
That's not what the Iron Dome is. The Iron Dome is just is just heat-seeking missiles, buddy.
They're just heat-seeking missiles?
Yes.
All right, well, I'm pretty sure we're using our Space Force and our satellites to track and locate these weapons. I think it's more technical than just heat-seeking missiles that just shoot up in the air. But if that's the case,
the Iron Dome is. I'm talking about what the Iron Dome is. The Iron Dome is just heat-seeking defense missiles. That's exactly what it is, which is why it's not as effective. Versus what we already have in the United States for intercontinental ballistic missiles, like what they have and said that they had, is a laser defense system, which can reach a lot higher than defensive missiles can, and is also a lot more instant in its defense of said missiles.
Okay. Fine. I'll look into that. I'll see if I guess the argument is that our technology is going backwards and we're making something weaker than what we currently have, which I don't believe that. I don't think that makes any sense. I don't think that's the case. But regardless, we have depleted up to 50% of those weapons that they've stockpiled, and we're going to get more. We've hit 10,000 targets. We've successfully, since the 4 weeks that this has been going on, we've hit 10,000 targets. We have 3,000 targets left. So we're wiping out their defenses. They're going to be left basically crippled. What are they going to do?
So question, where are you getting those numbers?
From Trump said it at a White House press briefing, I think pretty recently.
Yeah, but
like within the last couple days.
So if it's not independently reported media, how do you know it's actually accurate numbers? Because we have plenty of videos already. So do you know how Israel is choosing the targets? We're trying to do the same thing as Israel, but do you know how Israel is choosing their targets and also feeding the targeting information to us?
Do I know how Israel is choosing their targets? I'm sure
And
with
feeding.
Mossad intelligence.
Do you know what Mossad intelligence utilizes primarily now?
No, what?
Really shitty AI. So one of the things that Israel's been using, and us with the intelligence that Israel has been giving us, is this really shitty AI thing that also guides Israel's missiles to the targets. Well, and you know how we know this is really shitty is because there have been a couple times where Israel specifically has tried to shoot down or shoot grounded planes and shit that are just currently sitting in Iranian airports, and it's turned out that it was just the outline of a plane or the outline of a helicopter sitting on the ground, and the dumbass fucking AI thought that it was a real fucking plane.
Okay, well, I'm talking about the U.S. and the intelligence that we have and the targets that we set out to hit at the beginning of this operation and what's being reported that we've hit already successfully and what we have left. Yes, it came from Trump's mouth. I guess your argument is Trump's a liar, so we can't trust anything he said unless media verifies it. But these are numbers coming from our military directly to the president at a White House briefing where he's addressing the nation. And I don't see any independent media fact checking him on that.
That's because the independent media doesn't fact check him enough.
Doesn't fact check him enough?
Yes, the independent media doesn't
fact check him when he says he had burgers a mile high. Nope, the burgers were not a mile high. They were only 12 inches high.
Here's the thing. Anyways, here's the thing. Where do you think the military is getting that intelligence on Iran?
They're there. It's their intel. It's them reporting on what they've done, the actions they've taken.
The majority of the intel that we get in the Middle East is through Israel. And if Israel's intel is faulty, that means our intel is faulty.
So wait, our Navy, who's in the Gulf, our Air Force, who's flying over these places and dropping these bombs, they're not reporting anything to us. It's all coming from Israel.
So I know you haven't served in the military, neither have I, but I've also talked to people who are in special forces about this kind of shit a lot. And it hasn't changed my opinion on war and this type of shit. So the way that this works, in order for them to know where to fly over, they have to have intelligence and some degree of idea of where this shit is before they go and do the flyovers and shit to actually see if the shit's actually there. So if they're going over there and flying over those areas, that's because of intelligence that they already have. The primary source of that intelligence is Israel.
Okay, well, I watch a guy on YouTube who was in the military and special forces, and he showed me a map of every target that we've hit. And this is all data that's publicly accessible. We can see it. So there's little X marks on everything we've hit, on all the ports, on Karg and all the surrounding islands, where our boats are, where their boats are. I can track in real time where every boat in the Persian Gulf is sitting right now. Like, this is all, most of this is publicly available, like what we've done, what we've hit. But you say that's just coming from Israeli AI, so we can't trust it. If we can't trust anything, then we can't even really have this debate. It just has to come down to, like, morally and ethically, should we be fighting them? And I would say yes, we should, because they hate us and they want us dead.
They have explicitly stated multiple times that they don't hate us as a people; they hate our government.
Yeah, they called for the death of our president. There were two. Well, I'm not even going to bring that up, but there are sleeper cells in America that are being activated, and these people want Trump dead. They want Americans dead. and we can't let that happen. That's an enemy. We have to do something about it eventually. We're just going to keep pushing it off, or we're going to finish it.
We'll hit that in a second, but I do have a question for you back on the intelligence thing real quick. So if you're saying like everything that we've hit everything that we meant to hit, so did we mean to bomb the schools and the hospitals?
Schools and the hospitals in Iran, the girls' school. No, I don't think. If it's true, and that's not just an anti-Trump narrative, because again, we can't trust anything from Trump, we can't trust anything from the media, we can't trust anything from Israel, we can't trust anything from
You're the one
intelligence.
saying we can't trust anything from the media.
No, that's you saying that.
No, I said I do trust the media. I do.
Oh,
trust,
okay.
I don't trust American media specifically, but I do trust. Most of American media. I do trust foreign media that is unbiased and not being blackmailed into fucking sucking Trump's cock right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's because all the media sucks Trump's cock. None of the media, all the media hates Trump, except for a few people at Fox. Even Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, they're all against Trump now too. So I don't think the media is sucking Trump's cock. I think that this girls' school that was attacked is another anti-Trump narrative that's put out to make everybody hate Trump. And let's say it is true. I don't think we targeted a girls' school. I think maybe our enemies put their weapon facilities and their military facilities underneath schools and hospitals. They do that on purpose, so it looks bad. When we said we were going to take out the bridges, they sent a bunch of women and children to stand at the bridges. They do that. They use their people as a way to make us look bad when we attack them. They send their people out to die just to make us look bad.
No, it was literally bad Israeli intel. So here's the thing. That girls' school, 5 to 10 years ago, used to be a military depot where they were keeping their weapons. It's no longer a military depot.
That's because it's blown up.
No, it's because they moved the weapons and turned it into a girls' school. It used to be a military depot, but
that's convenient
because we used outdated Israeli intelligence to guide our attacks. We ended up blowing up a bunch of kids instead.
Okay, well, that was no, but anyway, to answer your question, no, I don't think we targeted that school, and I don't think Israel intentionally set us up to target that school. Assuming what you're saying is true for the sake of argument, I don't think that was intended to hit a girls' school. So,
okay. So you're admitting, then you can see that could very well be bad intelligence.
Sure, I'll say we got bad intelligence from Israel, and there was a casualty of war. They put a military base under a school, and the military base was closed, and we hit the school. Casualties of war sucks.
Okay, now onto the whole sleeper cell thing. So where's the terrorist attacks?
There were 2 bombs thrown in New York. There was a guy, I believe it was in Boston, who they raided his house. He was planning to attack a nightclub a couple months ago. There were 2, and this is why I didn't want to, a lot of these examples are going to be ISIS, and it's kind of, I believe it's related, but, ISIS is kind of enemies. That's a Sunni versus Shiite thing, but, they are radical Muslims, is my point. Radical Islam. But yeah.
Yeah. So Iran does not fund ISIS. Iran does fund Hamas, and they do fund Hezbollah. You were right about that in your opening.
They have funded Al Qaeda, and Al Qaeda is tied to ISIS. Al Qaeda is Sunni. And they have funded Al Qaeda and the Taliban. The only ones they haven't funded were ISIS. They were enemies with ISIS for a while.
Yeah, well, I think they're still enemies with ISIS. I do believe you're right. I do believe they did fund the Al Qaeda and the Taliban briefly. Especially, I do know. I'm pretty sure they funded the Taliban for when the Taliban, up until the Taliban took over Afghanistan again. So that you are right about. But like,
So would September 11th be a terrorist attack that probably had ties to with Iran?
I would have to see. I'd have to look up when Iran started funding Al Qaeda.
And again,
But
and you mentioned the hostage situation at the embassy. That was Iran. So it's not just now. This has been a history of this. They have a history of continually doing this. And these people, we're going to let them control the world's energy. They won't join the Abraham Accords. If they wanted to join the Abraham Accords and they wanted to deal and negotiate and come to the table, we could let them peacefully control the strait.
so
But they're not doing that.
Okay, so it looks like Iran didn't start funding Al Qaeda until the 2010s, till like roughly the present. However, their connection to 9/11 was that they allowed for some of Al Qaeda's top leaders to flee to Iran and had some safe houses and Al Qaeda had some safe houses in Iran during 2001. That's their only connection to 9/11.
Okay, well, that's still a connection. But speaking of allowing people to come into countries,
Yeah, but at the same time, like, would you say that Saudi Arabia is responsible for 9/11? Because some of the people who did the attacks on 9/11 were Saudi?
maybe, but since then they've signed the Abraham Accords and now they're working with us, like Bahrain, like the UAE. Iran could do the same thing, but they won't. We can't even work with them. They weren't even at the Madrid, I believe it, what was it?
Saudi is literally playing both sides right now. You do realize that, right? Because they are also one of the major players in the BRICS alliance.
Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably a smart move to play both sides. But as long as you're not hurting both sides, you can work with both sides.
And also, Saudi Arabia was working with us back during 9/11 as well. Here's the thing. So we actually know a lot about this intelligence here whenever it comes to the 9/11 attacks. So the Al Qaeda did actually want Saudi Arabia to help fund the 9/11 attacks, and they refused. And they also did not want for the people to be actually trained in Saudi Arabia, which is why the Saudi people who were part of the 9/11 attacks went with Al Qaeda and got trained with Al Qaeda to commit the attacks. So Saudi was on our side back then too, just so you know.
Okay, but that is pre-Abraham Accords.
That is pre-Abraham Accords, yes. They've been our allies since before the Abraham Accords.
Okay. And you're saying they were our allies, but they still did things to help Iran, and that's a problem. I would agree.
Their people still did things to help Iran, yes. I actually do believe one of the major players in funding the 9/11 attacks was one of the members of the Saudi Arabia royal family.
Okay, and if they turned on us and started acting like Iran, then I'm sure we would treat them the same way we treat Iran. But they're working with us right now. So they had the Madrid peace talks or the Paris peace talks, and we didn't even invite Iran to the table because they won't deal. They won't negotiate.
They literally will. We had the fucking Iranian nuclear deal. That proves that they were willing to negotiate with us in the first place. They're just not willing to negotiate with Trump. There's a fucking difference.
They're willing to take a deal that they come out the winner in.
You mean that us giving them money back that we stole in order for them to have constant inspections to make sure they're not enriching uranium for the purpose of making nuclear bombs?
Then why were they still enriching it?
Because you still need to enrich uranium for the two main things that they use it for, which is nuclear energy and for chemotherapy. They still have to enrich uranium. You're not like when you have things like chemotherapy and things.
Where are you getting this from? That the majority of their you said the majority of their uranium is used for chemotherapy. Okay.
The majority of their Yeah, the majority of their nuclear production is is enriching uranium specifically for nuclear power and for chemotherapy, which you still have to enrich uranium for those two things. You do know that, right?
No, I'm not. I misunderstood you in your earlier. I thought you said that they use their oil for chemotherapy, but okay, that makes sense. They use their uranium for chemotherapy. Okay. I no, I don't disagree. Sure. They gotta save all the people with cancer. I get it. But they don't need weapons grade uranium for cancer.
No, they don't. But at the same time, you do still need close to weapons grade uranium for nuclear facilities. What's the enrichment percentage that you need for nuclear energy? Hold on, let me look that up.
Probably 20. Since 20 is the limit that we've set on them, or what we're demanding right now is that they dilute all the 60% that they have, which allegedly they have 9 to 11 nukes worth hidden in mountains.
Yeah, it depends on the type of reactor, but it's roughly 20%. You're right there.
Speaking of hiding in mountains, when you said the peace talks have ended, and I know you don't trust our government, so you're not going to take their word for it, but JD said that they are coming back to the table since the blockade.
I hate JD Vance more than I hate Trump because I'm from Ohio. I'm going to be completely. Well, here's the thing. A lot of Democrats and a lot of
I'm not a Vance fan either, so
a lot of Democrats and a lot of leftists want Trump to be impeached. I don't, because I'm more scared of JD Vance than I am Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the leftists who call for impeachment of Trump every 3 weeks have no idea what they're talking about. So, you're a little smarter than them. Good job. Speaking of hiding in mountains, though, one of the reasons that we're having trouble setting up negotiations with them is because they're hiding underground right now, and their communications have been taken out. Those are some of the targets that we've hit. So their phones don't even work in their bunkers. I don't even know how they're coordinating with each other.
I mean, if they're still able to coordinate stuff, their communications clearly haven't been taken out. Their internet access, their internet access was taken out, but it wasn't taken out by the United States. It was taken out by them in order to save power.
They turn their internet off to save power?
Yes.
That's crazy. I mean, I believe you, but okay, so we are hurting them. We are being effective. You have to at least admit that, if anything, this is a show of force from America that's amazing. It's showing our military prowess and our strength that we're able to do this, and we're going to have minimal casualties. I believe this is going to be over within a month tops. So,
I mean, they're holding out about Iran's currently holding out about as well as we thought that. Or look, the predictions here are about as much as us taking over Iran as quickly as Ukraine was supposed to be taken over by Russia. And well, Ukraine's still holding out, and we've made about as much ground in Iran right now as Russia did with Ukraine. So
Ukraine's holding out because the entire West is basically backing them in the war and sending them resources and money and stuff. Who's sending Iran resources and money and weaponry right now?
Russia, China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and those are just the ones I can think of off the top of my head.
I've heard China has sent some anti-air systems to them, but I haven't heard of any of those other places sending them weapons right now.
China is primarily sending them defensive weapons, which is what I would expect from China, because China is not really very pro-offensive warfare.
No.
Russia is primarily sending them offensive weapons that they can spare, from what I've heard. I'm not sure about what Pakistan and Afghanistan are sending them. I'm sure it's probably offensive weapons or money.
Yeah. And I see, just like Venezuela, who supplied Russia and China with oil, we take Venezuela. They don't really do anything about it. They're staying kind of quiet on this. They're staying kind of quiet on Venezuela. And so Iran doesn't have a lot of friends in this situation. They just want the oil. And if we're going to make sure they get the oil, then they'll get their oil. They said if we block the strait, they would attack us. We blocked the strait. They haven't attacked us. I think they attacked Israel today.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't attacked us yet. I mean, what time did we block the strait? Because I heard about that like right before I came home from work.
I thought yesterday was the first day, but it might have been this morning. My days all blur together, but it was yesterday or today that it started.
I'm pretty sure it was today. I didn't hear it. It was 14 it was 10 a.m. today. Or wait, no, 10 a.m. yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, because I talked about it last night. Or the night before. But anyway, so they threaten us if we blockade them. We blockade them and they don't do anything about it.
I mean, we're talking about an intercontinental strike. It takes a lot more than 24 hours to get that kind of juice together for most countries. It also kind of depends on what kind of strike they're going to go for. Are they going to send an intercontinental ballistic missile, which we know they have because they've told us they have them? Are they going to send over some of their navy? Like, what are they going to do? We don't know.
Well, right now we have 2 destroyers outside of the strait, and we're letting ships pass. They were trying to toll people. We told them keep the strait open. They said we're going to toll people. We're going to charge people money to pass through. We said no. Now we have destroyers. We won't let any Iranian ships in or out, but we will let other country ships in or out to deliver oil. This makes people like China and stuff appreciate what we're doing because they're going to get their oil. And I don't see China or Russia retaliating against America because of what we're doing in Iran. I don't think they have a lot of friends.
I don't know if China. I don't think China would. And Russia would have been more likely to retaliate against the U.S. because of the shit that we were doing with Ukraine.
Right.
So Russia only cares about their own direct interests. They'll fund proxy wars against the U.S., but they won't do anything more than that. They're too fucking big of pussies.
Do you think there's ever a time, or are you just so anti-war that there's never a time we should offensively attack a country?
I would say when it comes to offensive attack, only if we're attacked first. I am very much so like an FDR style of isolationist, where we don't attack until you attack us first. I would say I also support like doing things like Lend-Lease. I think that that's what we should have been doing. Lend-Lease. Do you remember what the Lend-Lease program was from World War II?
No.
The Lend-Lease program for World War II was actually, we did it for both sides. So it was where we leased weaponry to both sides of the war in order to just fucking make money. I think we should be doing things like that specifically with our allies who are attacked instead of jumping in to help them. So like in the instance of like Ukraine, for example, instead of sending Ukraine a fuckload of weapons for free, what we should have been doing was using the Lend-Lease Act to let them lease the weaponry that we had and make money off of it.
Or we could do like what Trump was trying to do, which is if we're going to supply you weapons, you're going to supply us with rare earth. You're going to compensate us for the weapons.
That would effectively be the same as Lend-Lease, and that would be something I'd be okay with, yes.
Oh, so you're okay with one of Trump's plans?
I'm okay with a lot more of Trump's plans than you would think. Just not military plans.
Okay.
For example, I think Trump's plan to bring back public mental institutions is something that I support, and that's something that I've been advocating for years.
Based. All right. You just don't trust him with the military. I think that's one of his best. The military loved him in the first term. Now, granted, that's probably because he wasn't getting us into a bunch of new wars. Speaking of new wars, do you consider this a new war?
Because of the fact that we were almost entirely pulled out of the Middle East, yes, I would consider this a new war.
Okay. Well, for the sake of the debate, I'm okay. We've been calling this a war. We can call it a war, but legally, it's not actually a war. We haven't declared war.
We haven't declared a war in a very, very long time, and under the, I don't remember what the act was called. Under the one fucking act that allowed us to do the anti-terrorism shit, the president doesn't technically need permission from Congress to declare war anymore. He hasn't needed the permission from Congress to declare war for a very long time. I think there's a specific act that caused that whenever I debated Connor on the Venezuela situation, he brought up, but I don't remember what it's called.
Okay, I haven't heard that. As far as I know, we still do need congressional approval to declare war, which is why we don't declare war, because presidents since World War II, it's very, very rare for a president to ask for congressional approval for military action. Because especially now with social media and everybody hating Trump, he can't go to Congress and talk about this. People will leak it. This is the same thing with Venezuela. It's not like he can just go tell them, here's what I'm going to do, because the whole world will know about it in 30 minutes. And we have to keep our enemies guessing.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to go to the entirety of Congress. He just needs to go to the National Security Council.
Okay. Well, he did what he went to with Venezuela. He went to the what are they called? The Elite 8 or the Super 8 or whatever. He talked to some of them.
I don't know who you're talking about there.
The top people in it's called like the.
You're talking about the generals?
No, shoot, I can't remember what I'm thinking. They're called like the Super 8 or something like that. It's the top 8 congressional people.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. I've never heard it called that before, though.
I forget what they call it, but anyway, or the Super 6 or something like that. Super 8. So yeah, we're not technically, he hasn't declared war. I wouldn't consider this a new war. I think this is at least been happening for 47 years. We've been having trouble with them. They're like, you have problems with a US backed monarchy in Iran, and we have peace during that time. But you don't have problems with a Muslim theocracy, a hostile Muslim theocracy, hostile to the West.
I have problems with both, just like I have problems with Israel.
Okay.
Because of Israel being an ethno-state. I don't support any of those things. I don't think we should be I don't think we should be aligning ourselves with people who have ideologies that are fundamentally opposed to our own.
Okay.
So whenever I say that, I'm including Israel, I'm including Saudi Arabia. I actually have stopped participating or buying shit from a lot of companies because they've allowed Saudi Arabia to buy into their companies. I don't, but like with Israel or Saudi Arabia in general, or a lot of our Middle Eastern allies who are also Muslim theocracies, because they are a theocracy, and I don't think we should be allying with theocracies. I don't support our alliances with them either. I think we should completely and totally abandon the Middle East and let it sort itself the fuck out.
Yeah, that's a ideal world. I would kind of agree with you, but we don't live in a perfect world. We do have to fight our enemies. We do need energy dominance. And that's what we're trying to do in Iran. So like the economic issue with the oil, If they control that and they can just decide at the drop of a hat, we're going to hold the whole world's energy hostage. We're going to stop people from getting oil. They could effectively cause huge problems for the whole world, for the economy. They're doing economic terrorism right now, and we're clapping back and saying we can do the same thing. We can stop you from leaving the strait and let other people through.
We literally caused them doing said economic terrorism, because the only reason they're doing said economic terrorism is because we went to Israel's aid and started attacking them because Israel told us to.
Yeah, Israel said they were going to attack Israel, and so we attacked first. Do you think if we would have just not done anything and they would have attacked Israel, who would be the next target?
No, them attacking Israel isn't why we attacked Iran. We attacked Iran because Israel said if they don't, we're going to nuke them. Which, by the way, Israel is the only country in the world that has nukes that's not signed into the nuclear treaties.
Right. Yeah, and that's a problem. I'll give you that. They shouldn't be able to slide on that. But as far as I know, there's a New York Times article from somebody that was inside the talks, and they said basically Iran is planning to attack Israel and then America. And so we came and we did it first. We attacked first. Bomb first. That's what Tupac said.
Yeah, but why were they going to attack the U.S.? Because we're the primary funders of Israel.
Because they hate us. They hate the West. Their motto was never West, never East.
Why do they hate the West? You know why they hate the West?
Because they say that we're the imperialistic West. We're a Christian, mostly Christian nation. They have it in Shiite Muslims have it in their religious doctrine that they should war with us and they should either convert us or kill us. So I think it's a deep-rooted thing within their worldview.
The primary reason why a lot of the Middle Eastern states like Iran hate us is because of Western imperialism, because of the shit that we've done to the Middle East over the past 2 or 3 decades.
We secured an alliance with them for almost 50 years, and there was really not a lot of problems going on in Iran during the time that the Shah was in power, other than the people being propagandized to protest and hate their government and overthrow their government.
The whole reason why they overthrew their government is because their country was being significantly exploited under U.S. rule, just like Venezuela was, and the same reason why Venezuela overthrew the dictator that we put in place in their country as well. That both countries, as a matter of fact, were better off prior to us installing totalitarian regimes in their countries.
They weren't better off before. No, they were better off under the Shah. They hated the Shah. They rose up and they protested.
You do realize Iran had a liberal democracy prior to us overthrowing their government, right?
A liberal democracy?
Yes. Their last president was literally a liberal secularist.
Okay.
I looked this up earlier when I was writing my opening statement. We literally overthrew a liberal democracy in order to institute a monarchy that we could control. And
well,
that's why.
I just want to real quick, just to like kind of clarify the positions here. So with like JS, you're saying that like the Iran's ability to disrupt like the global oil supply, it crosses from like sovereignty into like economic terrorism and aggression, and Vigilante, you're saying that like even if there is a threat, the war is being driven by like poor leadership and economic harm to U.S. citizen, and that's
That's
possibly
part of it.
coming from outside pressure because you had mentioned Israel saying they were going to nuke if we didn't help. I just
Yeah.
want to make
So
sure I'm getting the positions correct. Am I
yeah,
fair with what I've said there so far? Yeah.
yeah, but there is a small part of mine that you're missing. And that's the fact that a lot of the economic pressures and stuff that are part of the problem that JS keeps mentioning is problems that we caused that we're getting better, that we're now just making worse again because of instituting this war.
They weren't getting better if they were planning to attack our allies and then us. They were just sitting back waiting until the right time. Eventually, do you think that eventually we would have had to fight them? Like eventually something would have happened, we would have had to fight them at some point.
I think there's a possibility under Trump that at some point we could have ended up fighting them regardless because of the aggression that Trump has shown towards Iran. Yeah. If it wasn't for the aggression that Trump had shown towards Iran, and if we had just stayed in the Iranian nuclear deal, things would be fine.
So just maybe for both of you here, because you're talking about like the past U.S. involvement in Iran. So does the past U.S. involvement in Iran change whether like military action today is justified? Because that's what we're talking about, like the actions happening today. So for both of you, I guess, do you think the past U.S. involvement in Iran changes whether it is justified or not?
I think so. I think like you wouldn't just attack a country because they did like randomly just attack a country because they did something 50 years ago. But when there's a continual display that they keep doing this and there's a long history of this, then I think it does justify it because it builds up over time. And my point for asking if you think that it ever would have happened and been justified, my point in asking that is to say, why don't we just take care of it now? If Trump can handle this situation now before he's out of office, before we get another Obama who's going to work with our enemies and basically just allow them to do what they want to do and not put any sanctions on them or anything.
So he just destabilizes another Middle Eastern country, and then we create another terrorist group that's fighting for their country's freedom and causes.
They've never been stabilized.
Iran's been pretty fucking stable for the past 50 years.
Stable. They had to shut their internet off to conserve power.
Yeah, it was a mix of having to. I mean, yeah, we're currently bombing their fucking energy fields and shit. They have to shut they have to shut their energy off.
They control the majority of the world's oil, yet they're a poor country who has to shut the power off to get internet. Like
if we were under attack and our enemies were fucking primarily focusing on bombing our energy facilities and taking out our transportation for electricity, we would have to shut off our power too. We would see mass blackouts throughout the United States. That's how war works. Ukraine has also had to deal with blackouts at certain points in time because of Russia also bombing their electric producing facilities. That's what happens when people are bombing your electric producing facilities.
Yeah, but people aren't going to be able to bomb art because you don't hear about people bombing European countries and American countries. Those are stable countries. All of these other countries you're mentioning will never be stable.
Brother, Ukraine is literally a European country.
Ukraine is part of Europe?
Yes.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean, Western European countries or okay, you got me on that one. The point is, Ukraine's not that. I mean, Ukraine's different than
Ukraine was also very stable up until the point of Russia attacking them.
Sure. Ukraine, but Ukraine's a tiny country, and
The point
I'm-
being, war destabilizes countries. Like, yeah, you could say they're destabilized now, but that's because they're currently being bombed and being attacked. That's what happens when you're being bombed and being attacked.
yeah, I'm more so talking about these Islamic desert nations. They're not very stable. It's due to the people.
It's due to the theocratic extremism, to an extent, yeah.
And low IQ.
And theocratic extremism leads to destabilization regardless of where you're at.
Depending on the theocracy, depending on the religion, I would say. Byzantine Empire was pretty stable for 1,000 years.
The Byzantine Empire was literally Muslim, if I remember correctly.
No, it was a Christian theocracy.
Or no, you're talking about the one of the Roman empires. I was thinking of the Ottomans.
Yeah.
What if sorry. I was just gonna try to repose the question in a different way for you guys. Does causing a problem in the past increase your responsibility to fix it or decrease your right to intervene? Do you guys what do you guys think of that?
The first one.
I would say it decreases your right to intervene, because if you caused the problem in the first place and you just want to use the same, well, it depends on how you want to intervene. There are different ways to intervene. Like, the way that we're trying to intervene now is the same way that we intervened in the past and caused the problem in the first place. So if you're just going to do the same thing over again in order to try to fix the problem, that's not going to work.
You can't.
Things like the Iranian nuclear deal are the ways that we actually would need to work with Iran in order to actually fix the destabilization, and work with these other countries in order to fix the destabilization.
You can't just always blame America for everything when they're repeatedly doing terrorist attacks, attacking these embassies, bombing places, sending suicide bombers into things. You can't just say America did that. Those people made that choice.
Who created the terrorist groups?
Muslims.
The U.S. We created them when we funded the Mujahideen.
We funded somebody that we shouldn't have funded. That doesn't mean we created the terrorist groups. If I give you $10,
the Mujahideen, if we did not fund them, was going to get fucking crushed. Then what would now be what the terrorist groups are now would not exist if we did not fund the Mujahideen.
If I give somebody $10 and they go buy crack with it, I didn't buy crack for them.
Technically, you did, because you gave them the money.
So maybe I wanted him to get a sandwich. That's his fault. Maybe we funded them to defend themselves and to do the right thing, and it was a stupid decision. We shouldn't have done that. But it's not that we created these terrorist groups. We gave them money and weapons. They used it to create terrorist groups.
We created the terrorist groups in more ways than one. We funded the Mujahideen to do a proxy war against the USSR. And then once the USSR fell, we went into the Middle East to take out Osama bin Laden and the other people that we were funding. Prior to 9/11, we failed, and then Osama bin Laden did 9/11, and then we went back in.
Right, but my point is, we gave them the money to help us fight one of our enemies, because Iran was against the USSR too. That's when they were our ally. These were our allies who didn't want to come under control of the USSR and communism.
You mean the Shah? No, Iran was our ally after we couped their government, their democratically elected government, and instituted the monarchy.
Right, but Iran was against USSR. So they were allied with us against the USSR.
They were allied with us against the USSR because we instituted the government that was in control of Iran. They were a puppet state.
Okay, so we're working with them, we're allies with them to fight off a bigger enemy. And then years and years later, they take some of that that funding and those resources that we gave them, and they used it against us. Does that mean we attacked ourselves?
The Iran didn't use funding that we gave them. They used their own
Or
funding.
these groups that we
the-
funded to fight the USSR, they later used that against us. They started these terrorist groups and they attacked us, and now we got to go fight them.
We didn't use Iran to fight the USSR. We just used them to have control of the Middle East during that time. We used a couple different puppet governments in order to control the Middle East at that time, one of which being Saddam Hussein and Afghanistan, which he was one of the only actual governments that we funded in the Middle East at the time.
But the reason we did that was to defend against the USSR.
To fight a proxy war, imperialist proxy war against the USSR, yes.
Right. So we used a smaller country. We helped arm them and give them resource. We used them to help fight an enemy. And then they took those resources and used them against us decades later. That's not us. We didn't create terrorist groups.
Why did they turn around and use that funding against us?
Because they're pieces of shit. Because they can't be worked with. They're not trustworthy.
They turned around and used that funding and the training that we gave them against us, because we decided after the war was over that the freedom fighters that we were funding were no longer freedom fighters, and prior to them doing any terrorist attacks, and went in to kill their leadership in Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, we killed Osama bin Laden because of not. So I'm saying we
went in to try to kill Osama bin Laden prior to 9/11 with the Gulf War, and we failed.
Well, who attacked?
Kicked out of the Middle East.
Who attacked the Trade Center in '93?
I don't remember. I've never heard of that attack. Hold on.
Yeah, the Trade Center. The Trade Center was bombed in 1993, I believe.
Razami Youssef. He was a Pakistani terrorist.
Okay.
Let's see, what group was he with?
Pakistan would, I think that would be Al Qaeda.
No, Al Qaeda was primarily Afghan up until we went into the Middle East.
Regardless, my point is we didn't give them money to create terrorist groups that are going to attack America. We gave them money and resources to help us fight the USSR through the proxy war that you mentioned. And then decades later, they took some of that and they used it against us. They double crossed us. So we go in there to shut them down. And those roots that would do something like that still exist in Iran. And that's the group that controls the world's economy. And they can shut down the world's economy at the drop of a hat. So we're going to keep them from doing that. We're going to deplete their weapons. We're not going to let them control the Strait.
So how are we going to prevent them from doing that? Are we just going to send all fucking thousands of our troops back to the Middle East and just control the Middle East from inside the Middle East again?
Well, we can
literally go back to what we were doing before, the thing that Trump said he no longer wanted to do?
We essentially control the whole southern coast of the Persian Gulf, from Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, the UAE. We have bases all along the Persian Gulf, along the south side. The north side and the Strait is controlled by Iran. If they would work with us, they wouldn't need to be attacked. But how are we going to do that? We're going to set up blockades. We're going to let other countries get their ships in and out, but we're not going to let Iran get their ships in and out.
Okay,
so we're going to cripple Iran.
Why are they not working with us?
Because don't trust Iran. Iran is asshole.
The reason they're not working with us is because of the fact that we pulled out of the Iranian nuclear deal and stopped giving them their money back that we stole while they were a puppet state.
No, we remove sanctions from them with the nuclear deal. And we said nicely, please don't enrich your uranium, but they were still enriching uranium and nothing was happening.
So yes, we did remove sanctions with the nuclear deal, but we were also paying them money in order for them to not like as part of the deal. So during
But they were.
hold on, they were enriching uranium for the purpose of medicine and for nuclear power at that point in time.
So you won't believe Trump and our military intel, but you'll believe Iranian. Just trust us, guys. It's for chemo.
The information that I'm working off of there is literally from the independent fucking people who were supposed to be the ones going in and vetting that shit at the time. They weren't actively enriching uranium for the purpose of nuclear weapons. The previous leader of Iran, the one that Trump killed, by the way, he didn't know, was against Iran having nuclear weapons. The guy now that's in power now actually wants them to have nuclear weapons. So are they probably trying to enrich uranium now because of the person who's in power? Yes. Were they before when we started this conflict and killed their leader who was against them having nuclear bombs? No. Why would they be doing that?
Well, one other point I wanted to get to before we end is so we've sent so far, I think 6 people from 3 different families. Mad Mary, I think her name was. She was one of the main people involved with the embassy hostage situation. Her 2 sons were living in America. 6 of these people, 2 of them were professors at colleges, and these are terrorist family members living in America. We brought them over here, and we were letting them live here and teach our college students. So, how I think that's stupid, but how horrible are we to them if we're bringing their family members over to America?
Yeah, the ones that we're not bombing and killing? Sure, we'll save a few of your family members, but we're going to bomb and kill the rest.
I mean, I think we should have done that in the first place. We shouldn't have brought them to America. That's how we end up with terrorist groups in America.
Bombing and killing them in the first place is how we ended up in this in the first place, instead of trying to work with them and actually using diplomacy.
Yeah, there's no diplomacy with Iran. It's basically give us what we want or people die.
If there's no diplomacy with Iran, then how did we get the Iranian nuclear deal?
By giving them what they want. It was a bad deal.
What do you think diplomacy is? You give somebody what they want in order for you to get what you want.
But we didn't get what we wanted.
We did get what we wanted. We wanted the ability to go in and inspect their fucking nuclear facilities to make sure that they weren't enriching uranium. That is literally what we wanted. And that is what we got.
Then how are they still enriching uranium?
Because we're not part of the fucking nuclear deal anymore.
So they just started back up after the JCPOA ended.
Yes.
All right. Well, I don't know. Shit. Where else should we go?
What do you think happens when you pull out of a fucking treaty, dude?
If it's a bad deal, I think that they were doing it anyway.
How would they have been doing that if we were literally going in inspecting their enrichment facilities to make sure that they weren't doing that?
Sorry, forgot to mute the sound there. That will wrap up the hour of open floor. All right. Excellent exchanges from both sides tonight. Okay, we're now going to enter in the final phase of the debate here, the closing statement. A quick reminder to the live chat. Okay, the Q&A is already up there. So if you've got a question for either debater, make sure you drop them in now. All right, and remember, super chats, PayPal's, Cash Apps. These questions will take priority. So if they fill up the whole 30 minutes, we may not get to the free ones. So if there's something you really want guaranteed to be asked, send it through one of those priority options. Okay. With that said, we're going to move into closings. Each debater gets 5 minutes to make their final case. We're going to be starting with you, Vigilante. That'll give JS the last word. So, Vigilante, whenever you're ready for your closing statement, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna rehash a lot of what we talked about here. So when it comes to creating issues like this or trying to solve issues like this, you don't need like doing the same thing that caused the issue, which is exactly what we're doing right now. When we sit here and go in and bomb Iran and try to overthrow their government and coup their government like we did back in the 1950s, which literally caused the situation that we're in now, where the Iranian people hate us because of us reinstituting the monarchy that they overthrew in order to institute a democratic republic. Because again, prior to us coupping their government, they were a democratic republic, just like the United States is. We overthrew their government and instituted the monarchy, and then they overthrew that government, and now they're a theocracy because the people who didn't want to be ruled by the fucking monarchy anymore, that still had the power to fight against the United States, were the fucking terrorists that we funded in the Middle East, and that's why they were able to overthrow it in the first place. You can't sit here and keep doing the same things over and over to fix the problem and expect it to fix the problem. What we need to do in order to fix this problem is diplomacy. And unfortunately, the Trump administration has proven it's not capable of diplomacy. We can sit here and act like these peace deals are going well. They're obviously fucking not. Otherwise, we wouldn't be blocking the Strait of Hormuz. Israel wouldn't be attacking Lebanon right now. And Iran wouldn't be attacking Israel. The peace deals are falling apart. They're going to continue to fall apart. It's not going to go the way that the American right, and that Israel wants us to believe, because you can't get peace through force. This is the idea that you can get peace through force outside of temporary measures has been disproven time and time again throughout all of civilization. It always falls apart. That's why the Roman Empire eventually fell apart. That's why the German Empire fell apart. And that's why the Nazis failed in World War II. Peace through strength does not work. If it did work, there wouldn't be any more terrorists in the Middle East, because we've been trying to use peace through strength to wipe out the terrorists in the Middle East for the past 20 fucking years. Actually, 30 fucking years. If it worked, we wouldn't still be having to fight and still be having to deal with this issue. Very clear that it does not work. And I'll see the rest of my time there.
All righty. Thank you for that closing statement. With that, we're going to hand the mic over to JS. JS, whenever you're ready for your closing statement, go ahead and I will start the timer up with your voice.
All right. So just so everybody knows, history is my weakest subject. And I tried to cram as much information about the Middle East, the history of the Middle East and wars in the Middle East into my brain as fast as possible for this. But it's a whole big ball of craziness. It's very, like, you could probably study this your whole life and you still wouldn't know everything about it. So, give me a little grace. Is a lot of stuff to remember, and it's tough. Again, I'm not a fan of war, and I don't like these endless wars in the desert, but they're called forever wars for a reason. They're forever. We're always going to have problems in the Middle East. We're always going to be fighting. It's biblical. If there's peace in the Middle East, I believe that means the end times are here. Whoever brings peace to the Middle East, complete peace in the Middle East, means the world's about to end. So there's always going to be problems in the Middle East. Trump does use diplomacy, and we have used diplomacy. We're still using diplomacy right now with peace talks. We're just, for the time being, we have to control the strait. So we've got ships in there. We're bombing targets. We're basically disabling their military and weakening them as much as they can. And that's when the diplomacy happens, after you stop your enemy's ability to attack and kill people. Saying Trump can't do diplomacy is crazy. He wrote The Art of the Deal. He's a master deal maker. He's way better at negotiations and making deals than Obama or Biden or any president that I've seen. And I'm going to stand behind my president. People will say, "Oh, you just blindly follow Trump. You're just a MAGA Trump supporter. You just blindly follow Trump." But I feel like when I do these debates about Venezuela and Iran, I'm at least showing that it's not blind faith. I'm finding reasons to justify these things, and I'm willing to debate it with people, even if I'll accept maybe I'm wrong, but we're gonna have to wait and see, because right now we don't know. If this could go on for the rest of Trump's presidency, gas could be $5 by the time he leaves office, in which case I'll say I was totally wrong about Trump. I was wrong about everything. But while he's in office and while I'm on this screen, I'm going to stay loyal to my president, the guy who I elected, and I'm going to find justifications that I can to defend his actions. You said there's no peace through force, and then you brought up the Nazis. They tried to have peace through force, and look what happened. Who stopped the Nazis? We had to use force to stop them, to bring peace. So peace through strength does happen. It happens all the time. The government that we installed under the Shah, we had an ally with Iran. They pretty much had peace. I believe it was Islamic propaganda that made the revolution that rose up against the Shah to put in the Khomeini. And now today, you see people in the streets protesting Khomeini until he died. But he killed 30. We didn't even get into that. He killed 36,000. Well, the number's always changing, somewhere between 30 and 40,000 protesters. The Shah killed 4,500 protesters during the 78 Iranian Revolution. Khomeini, and these people were protesting against the Shah to install Khomeini. Then Khomeini's there. You see people in the streets again protesting him. People are always unhappy with their leadership. They're always going to protest. They're always going to complain. But Khomeini killed 35,000 protesters. So obviously those people weren't too happy with him either. There were people cheering in the streets when Trump killed him. Iran is a divided state. A lot of those people are totally on America and Israel's side, and they want to see change. And then a lot of the people support that regime, and they support the Khomeinis and all that stuff. So this is throughout history. Nations always fall. Nations always crumble. Wars always happen. And I trust Trump if he says, we're going to handle this now. We're going to finish this. And I'm going to stand behind him. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I was wrong in a couple years.
All right. Thank you for that closing statement. All right. That's going to conclude the closing statements. Great work from both debaters tonight. Listen, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the debates we host here on Swords of Reason. Again, we run all kinds of matchups: political, cultural, social, philosophy, internet beefs, trending topics, video games, movies, anything there's a conversation worth clashing over. We bring it into the arena. All right. Also, don't forget to subscribe to tonight's debaters as well. Their links are in the description. Show them support for stepping into the arena and sharpening their arguments tonight. in front of all of us. Okay. Before I start the official timer for the chat Q&A, I like to ask a question to each debater myself based on things I heard, arguments maybe I want clarified, or a point I think was missed. And once those questions are answered, we'll begin the official 30-minute Q&A. Okay, so
I'm gonna run to the restroom like 30 seconds. You can
okay,
ask him.
okay, I'll start with Vigilante's questions. No problem. So for you, Vigilante, for my first question, if a country, because it was brought up tonight, like if a country has the capability to disrupt like a major portion of the global economy, is there any point where military intervention becomes justified, like in your view? Is there something like, what's the threshold where you're like, okay, yeah, we need to step in here, they're fucking up?
I would say once they're at the point where they're actually doing it. Like if Iran would have started doing this shit where they're disrupting the Strait of Hormuz, but prior to us attacking them, then I would say that this probably would have been justified, because then at that point they would have already started economic warfare and they would have been the ones that started it. My standard is if you start it, we'll finish it, basically, like we did with World War II. But I don't support doing offensive wars and starting that shit on our own.
Okay, yeah, so you're saying if they would have blocked the Strait of Hormuz before we attacked, you would have said, yeah, go attack.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you want to say anything to that, JS? I asked if I asked if a country has the capability of disrupting a major portion of the global economy, because you brought that up earlier. Is there a point that military intervention is justified? And Vigilante had said that if they would have did something like blocking the Strait of Hormuz before we attacked, yes, that would have been a justified. Did you have anything you want to say for that?
Yeah, I thought I meant to ask him that during the debate, is when he said no offensive wars, only if they attack us first. And I was going to ask basically the same thing. Can they attack us economically? So he said yes, they could attack us economically, and he would justify going there if they block the strait first. Okay, so I don't.
Yeah, but that's also not just attacking us economically. That's attacking the entire world economically.
Okay, but if you're building, if we have intel that you're making nukes, and we bomb these places where you're making the nukes because we find out that you're going to attack us, so we strike first and we bomb them, you react with economic terrorism, then they're perpetuating the war. They could have just conceded, and they could have.
Because we're the ones that attacked them first. We started the war. We're the ones perpetuating it.
Yeah, we can go to the next question.
All right. So for my second question for you, Vigilante, it's like, because it almost doesn't sound like with that last thing you said, like, or maybe because of in this situation. So like, is your argument with this current situation, how this has went, even mentioning how you said that Israel posed a threat of, if you don't help, we're just going to drop nukes on them, things like this. Are you saying that like this shouldn't have happened at all, or that it's being handled poorly the way it's being done? And like, how would your preferred approach like realistically prevent that same threat of we're going to drop a nuke on?
I mean, realistically, the way that this whole thing would have been prevented in the first place is if we just kept them as like a soft ally and had them kind of under our control like we did before by not pulling out of the Iranian nuclear deal. But it's obviously way too late for that. Alternatively, what we probably should have done is instead of attacking them because Israel told us we were going to nuke them if they were going to nuke Iran if we didn't attack Iran, what we should have done is say, okay, go for it. And the consequences are you do it, we're pulling all of our funding and all of our aid away from you, and you're on your fucking own.
All right. Do you have anything you want to say for that, JS?
Yeah, we can't have soft allies with people who want our president dead. And I don't care what they say; they want our people dead too. If it
They literally want our president dead because of the aggression that he did against them in the first term, killing Soleimani, pulling out of the Iranian nuclear deal. The aggression that Trump has done against Iran is literally the reason why they want our president dead.
well, if
That's
they want our leadership dead, then they also want whoever supports our leadership dead, which means civilians and military, anybody who supports Trump, which is half of the country, maybe 40% now.
All right. So my question's on your side, JS. Is so one's kind of like a little bit of opposite for the first one I asked JS or Vigilante. What's like your limiting like principle? Like at what point does like a country's like military or economic threat like justify war, and then how do you avoid with that logic not leading to endless conflicts, right? Like we've brought up before, like, well, this other country that doesn't like America also has nukes, and then this place does shit in Papua New Guinea doing some crazy, you know what I mean? So like how do we avoid the logic leading to endless conflicts?
So it's not so much who or how much military power or economic control a country has. I mean, it's not so much how much weaponry or economic power they have, but it's who they are. It's who the country is. If the country's a country that we can work with, like North Korea has nukes, and somebody was saying, well, why don't we just attack North Korea? North Korea is not threatening our allies or us. Like when they gestured towards a threat, Trump came out and said, "Little Rocket Man, what a joke," and made fun of him and made threats back to him, and nothing happened. So it stayed, if they can, and they need to let us know they have nukes, and we need to monitor them. We have intel on them and stuff. But these countries that are trying to do it under our nose secretly and hate us and want us dead shouldn't be allowed to amass that much power. So it's a case by case basis, and it's more so who the country is, not what they have or what they can do.
Does North Korea not hate us and want us dead?
They're not threatening anybody. I don't see them threatening people. And if they did, then we would do the same thing to them.
Does Russia not hate us and want us dead? And they've been threatening us for years.
Well, we're essentially fighting Russia through Ukraine.
Where we don't have any boots on the ground, we're not fighting Russia. We're funding Ukraine.
It's a proxy war.
Yeah. But at the same time, like that, they want to attack the U.S. They still want to attack the U.S. They haven't yet.
I think Trump and Putin have a pretty good relationship. I haven't heard him threaten to attack the U.S.
Okay. What about China? China has nukes.
China also has a good relationship with the U.S. They are our enemy, but they have a working relationship with us. Iran does not have a working relationship with anybody. Even the people that even the people that work not BRICS, even the countries that work with Iran know that Iran's crazy. Like the Khomeinis are crazy.
But again, why does Iran not want to work with the United States?
Because they hate us.
Why do they hate us?
Their slogan was never the West, never the East. They think they're the center of the world. They think they're the the chosen people of Allah. So they'll work with whoever is beneficial to them, but they'll turn on them too, like we saw. They did it with us.
The whole reason why they're not willing to work with us is because our president has proven himself
because Trump tore up the
unreliable.
Right, because Trump tore up the JCPOA, which was a bad deal.
You can say it was a bad deal, but what you don't just tear up bad deals, you renegotiate them.
Yeah. Or you make a whole nother deal.
Which he never tried to do. He just tore up the deal and threw the sanctions back on them and started doing acts of aggression again. And he's supposed to be this glorious, amazing negotiator, but never once did he ever try to negotiate with Iran.
A lot of people haven't negotiated. Iran didn't even go to the, like I said, the Paris, the treaty. I think it was in. I have it wrote down, but anyway, there was a Madrid peace conference, and all of the Middle East came to the table, but not Iran. And so it just shows they're not willing to work with the West anymore. They did in the past, and things seemed all right, and now they won't.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you're constantly getting your money effectively stolen through sanctions, and constantly getting attacked by a country, are you going to want to work with that country? Here, let's do this with a more personal metaphor. If there's this one guy on your road, and every time you pass him, he punches you in the face and steals your wallet, are you gonna? And then later he comes to the table and he says, "Look, I don't want to be punching you in the face and stealing your wallet anymore. Are you going to sit at the table and negotiate a deal for him to stop punching you in the face and stealing your wallet?"
Yeah. So the Madrid conference was in 1991, and the whole thing was set up to make more peaceful, friendly transactions in the Persian Gulf. All the countries bordering the Persian Gulf came to the table except Iran. The reason that they didn't come is because they said they will never work with the big Satan. They hate the big Satan. That was their reasons for not coming to the table.
So, okay, this kind of leads into my next question for JS. So I want to ask you, are you arguing that this war right now is necessary because of what Iran might do or because of what they have already done?
It's habitual, it's repeated, it's a whole history that's led up to this moment, and eventually I believe it was going to be inevitable. And I think most people, I've listened to the other debates that you've had on here with other people, and even Vigilante said it. Eventually, we would have had to fight them anyway. So I believe that it's better to, under a strong leader, to attack first and handle the situation first instead of letting something happen. Who knows how many Americans could have died if we just wait. We should sit back and wait till they attack us. So it's a pattern. And I think Trump's the guy to handle it. Once he's out of office, say we get Gavin Newsom as the next president, I think that Trump's the guy to take care of this before something worse could have happened.
All right. Did you have anything for that, Vigilante?
No.
All right. So that is my questions. We're gonna get into the official Q&A chat. If you got questions, get them in. All right. There's quite a bit of super chat, so I don't know if we'll make it to the free one. So if you want a question, get it in. All right. Let's start this timer up. And first question comes in from Rule Over 2 for both. Why do we, USA, have to do this? And where is everyone else? Good question. I like it. Whoever wants to answer first.
Because we're the strongest country in the world. We have the strongest military in the world. Energy dominance. We're the leaders, and we need to lead with strength and authority and lay down the law.
Realistically speaking, I'd say we don't actually have to do this. We could have easily abandoned Israel and told them if they want to nuke Iran, go for it, and you're fucking yourself if you do. But we didn't do that. We decided to stick by Israel, and now we're stuck in this war instead.
All right. Next one comes in from Spartacus, Big 30. Thank you, Spartacus. Says, what the fuck, chat? I pop in to say hi before work to an empty dono. No freeloading. Flood the chat with a wall of $2 donos. Thank you very much, Spartacus, doing my grifting for me. I like it. I like it. I appreciate you. Left-handed assassin comes in with 5, just showing support. Thank you very much, left-handed assassin. Rule over 2 sent in at $2, just showing support. Thank you very much. Prince of Dogs coming in with $2, just showing support. Thank you very much. Jack of Blades coming in with $2, said, yes, sir, Spartacus, sir. Thank you very much. Rule over 2 comes in with $2, says the Golden Dome. Wait,
The Golden Dome.
is that what it's called?
That's the one we're building. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was
We're
like, wait a
working
minute, that's not what Israel calls
Which apparently
Yeah, no,
is.
we're making our own version of their inferior technology.
Yeah, apparently we're going backwards with our technology. Which I don't agree with that at all. I think, but I'll look into it.
Did you guys hear about the dolphin that kidnapped some guy? I'll tell you. We'll talk about that.
I made a short about it.
Heard about that?
That shit's
heard about that.
hilarious, dude. That's
Marilyn told
crazy.
us about it one night, and I made a short about it. It was so funny.
I have to go watch that now. Spartacus comes in with $2, just showing support. Appreciate you, Spartacus. Prince of Dogs also sending in another 2 just to show support. Appreciate you. Zach Gelpy comes in for 10, says that's not true just on its face. Israel is well known to use primarily human assets for their intelligence rather than technology. Do the United States use technology more than human assets?
To my knowledge, I don't know if we do now. In the Middle East, in the past, we used to use primarily human assets, but for the most part, to my understanding, the CIA had to pull out of most of the Middle East at the same time that we pulled the military out of the Middle East because there was no longer any military backup for the CIA to be able to operate in the Middle East. So right now, we primarily run our intelligence in the Middle East through Israel because we don't really have much boots on the ground.
Yeah, he said Mossad mainly uses AI for their intelligence. Even if that is true, which I don't know if it is, but even if it is true, do you think that the Mossad and the CIA, the strongest intelligence groups in the world, don't have far more advanced AI than we know anything about? The government's got crazy stuff that we don't know anything about. It can compile data and do all of that better than human minds can. It's not, maybe it can't think about morals and things and ethics, but compiling data and reporting data, AI, even if they are using AI, I'm sure it's crazy good AI.
Yeah, AI that's so effective that it bombs paintings of planes and helicopters on the ground at Iranian military bases.
Are they
thinking
doing
they're
that?
planes. Yes. I brought that up during the debate. You didn't realize?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I thought you said they were bombing and making like the shape of a plane on the ground or something.
No, Iran is drawing like shadows of planes on the ground and helicopters on the ground, and the AI intelligence systems that they use to guide these bombs in Israel are bombing the fucking paintings on the ground, thinking that they're real aircraft.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, go look it up. This is how smart these fucking intelligence systems are, buddy.
Okay, but if a person was flying over there and they saw a bunch of shadows that look like planes on the ground, they'd probably bomb them too.
This is like the guy who painted a line of the road going into a wall, and the Tesla just drove straight into the fucking wall. No, in real life, that's what happened with a Tesla. Somebody had a self-driving Tesla, and they go by the lines. So somebody fucking repainted the lines of the road to turn into a wall. The Tesla fucking ran right into it.
What? That's real life Looney Tunes.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, this is like the Roadrunner shit. We got $2 from Tiny Pink Nuggets. Says Goat Lives Matters. All right, GLM. Remember that, guys.
That's the true motivation.
Where your goats are?
We're saving goats.
That's right. We're over there taking all the goats back. That's right. $2 comes in from Rule Over 2. Dish Bish don't know about Pangea.
This bitch don't know about Pangea. That's from Little Dicky.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rule Over 2. Little Dicky, I haven't seen that. Oh, wait, no, Little Dicky. I'm thinking of Little Nicky. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. When he's the devil's son, Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Popeye's chicken's fucking awesome. Rule Over 2 sends in $2. Also, GLM. Thank you. Save the goats. Prince of Dogs. Bah. GLM. Tiny Pink. Nuggets of Chaos. Thank you very much for $2. Make that dono bar move. Y'all sleeping. Prince of Dogs comes in for $2. Says not yet, Tiny. Thank you very much. Where's all the questions, guys? Jack of Blades for $2 says yes, Tiny. Yes. Thank you, Jack of Blades. Abby sends in $5, just showing support. Thank you very much, Abby. Fuck it button for $5 says new phone. Who this? I don't know. I got a new phone too. Member for 4 months. Shit. Thanks again, Easy and Alicia. Thank you, Rowdy. I appreciate the continued support. Jack of Blades for $2 hitting that dono goal in the chat. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed the confetti. Rule Over 2 to both for showing up. Shit's different when you're in it. Yeah, I try to, I tell everybody it takes a lot more than you think to come up here and like do this shit in front of it. It's way different than when like you join a panel, right? You join a panel and like that the whole crowd is focused on a bunch of different voices. You can kind of sit back for a minute and then pop in when you want to. When it's just two people, like you guys know, the whole crowd's focused on 50% one, 50% the other, right? Nobody cares. I'm the moderator. Nobody, so like that puts a lot more pressure, and a lot of people don't realize that. So,
Yeah,
I always give kudos.
I haven't had a 1v1 with JS in a while, obviously. My very first 1v1 debate was also against JS.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can research all you want and you can try to prep for all the arguments the opponent's going to make. But if they pull out some argument that you didn't research into, you just got to like think on your toes and just like come up with it's tough. And somebody, I don't like responding and reading the chat, but somebody in chat was like, that was the worst closing ever. Why would you say that in a closing? Dude, I'm just being humble. I'm saying, I understand I'm not the most knowledgeable on history of Iran and the Middle East. And so,
I have way too much knowledge about the history of the Middle East and stuff because of some of the people that I debate off stream sometimes. It's like all ingrained into me. They've tried to change my mind on like my position on the Middle East, and it's just strengthened my position on the Middle East more and more to the point where I'm like, my position is literally just abandon it or glass it. Either one, I don't fucking care.
Well, glass it. I mean, that's kind of my position.
Either peace or total destruction.
Right. When I say glass it, I'm referring to the entirety of it, including Israel.
Oh, wow. He means the whole Middle East. God, all right. That's a whole nother level. Well, that's a debate for another time for sure. Rowdy Gowdy coming in for 5 says nukes are cool and all, but where are we on the Artemis 2 trip? And another totally related question. Ought snitches get stitches? W's to both of you.
Artemis 2 landed successfully in the ocean. The crew got out safely, and the flat earthers are already saying it was all fake. So
true.
Where we stand on that.
This one here coming in, I think that's on the JS side. Are you streaming from here? No, so that's from the JS side there. Here's to staying up late.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Thanks, Rowdy Gowdy.
Fuck it button comes in for $5. Says Iran is not working with us because we pulled out of the Iranian nuclear deal. So pretending you were correct.
I don't get it.
Yeah, wait, Iran is not working with us because we pulled out of the Iranian nuclear deal.
So pretending. He's quoting Vigilante. So I don't know.
Oh, so you pretending you were correct. You're saying that people enriching to levels around 15 times above what could ever be needed for civilian use is only doing so for civilian use and not weapons, for which is the only use. So yeah, basically talking about when the enriching levels and saying that those enriching levels are way too high for anything to do with civilian use.
That's their enrichment levels now. I conceded that they're probably trying to make nuclear bombs now, but prior to us pulling out of the Iranian nuclear deal, they weren't going over 20%. We have no evidence that prior to that they were going over 20%, other than fucking Fox News randomly saying it every so often with literally no evidence.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure they were still enriching uranium, but I didn't take enough time to study into the Iran nuclear deal. So,
All right. $10 comes in from Trailer Thrash Music. Says for the grift, Spartacus. Thank you very much. I appreciate that big time. And then also $2 from Trailer Thrash says, push it
real good.
Hold on. Chat, can you hear me now when I'm up like this?
Yes, it sounds better when you're closer, like when you have the mic closer to you, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to hear you, but we hear every car passing in the background.
Yeah, it was crazy today.
Hold on.
Today I was like, "Yo, is he outside? What the fuck is going on?"
No, okay.
You want in a tent on the side of the highway or something?
Here's the thing: my apartment doesn't have AC. I still need to get like a wall AC unit or a window AC unit.
AC unit.
Yeah, so both of my windows are open, and I have a box fan right over there.
Okay.
The box fan's on low, that's why you can't hear that. But the windows are open, so you're gonna hear every fucking car.
When you first started your opening, I had you turned up because I was doing your levels at first, and then all of a sudden I could just hear. And I was like, "Whoa, what is going on?"
Heard trucks driving by.
But I fixed it real quick because I was like, "Oh, okay." All right, so that is it for the super chat side. Let's go over here to the Q&A in the chat. Not even much in there, guys. Let's see what y'all doing. Even Lord, a question for both debaters. Do you think the Iranians are white? Do you think they can be a great ally and nation in the future? And they put the white in quotations.
I'm not.
Do you think the Iranians are white? Do you think they can be a great ally and nation in the future?
I think, well, we've seen them be a good ally for a short period of time, but I don't ever think it would be long lasting. And as far as white, I'm not like an ethno nationalist or anything, so I don't know if we can only be allies with white people, but they are great people. I like the whites. So,
shit. What's your answer to that?
Obviously they're not white; they're Middle Eastern. I mean, some of them are on the whiter side, but that's mostly ones that are here in the U.S. due to interracial. Yeah. As far as allies, I mean, we have plenty of non-white allied countries. I mean, it's whether or not you don't need to be white to be a good ally.
Canada's not so white anymore. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like Saudi. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I mean, like Saudi Arabia is technically our ally, and they're in the same region, and they've been our ally for a really long time. Now, do I think they should be our ally? Not really, but that's because I don't support theocracies. I don't support ethnostates, which is why I don't think there are any realistically currently any good possible allies in the Middle East because they're either all ethno-states or theocracies. They would need to change that in order to be able to be a good ally.
Okay. All right. We got some more super chats coming in. Rowdy Gowdy for $2 says, "Could you point to Iran on a map with no labels?"
Yeah.
Yes.
I could
Okay,
point
I like it.
to Iran, the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, all of them.
I'm getting better with that. To be honest, I used to be really shitty at that. Like looking at a map and knowing where everything is without having it there. I used to be really shitty at that. That's something I'm actually working on like currently. Like that's literally one of the things I do in my spare time now for fun.
Yeah, I was good at geography, but not history.
I'm opposite. I was good at history, not geography. Shit. And then Mo comes in for 5, says, "No, it was 60% before this happened, confirmed by the International Atomic Energy Agency."
Before the attack happened or before the
I
Iranian
think that's what
nuclear
he's.
deal?
Oh, yeah, that's right. What are you, Mo? If you want to just say in the chat what you're referring to here, to clarify, I'll highlight it.
Because from what I understand, they were still enriching uranium during the Iranian nuclear deal, and that
Before
was
the attack.
and that was before the attack. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure we agree to that. Yeah. But what's at question here is, were they still enriching uranium during the Iranian nuclear deal? And I don't know if we have evidence.
Okay, so that's what Vigilante was referring to. That's when they were at 20 or whatever.
Yeah. He's saying they didn't start enriching uranium again until Trump tore up the Iranian nuclear deal. Which I don't know. I don't know if that's
they
true.
they were enriching uranium, but they weren't enriching it past what they were capped at, which what they were capped at that point in time was actually lower than what we thought it was. It wasn't 20%, it was 3.65. So they were only able to use that for medical purposes and energy purposes, because I was actually looking up what he was talking about now. And that, from what I'm finding, they weren't enriching it past what they were told they could enrich it past.
All right. Rule over 2 comes in with a question in the Q&A here. Says, I'm going to put in the banner for you guys. "If it was anyone other than the Orange Man, would you hold true to your stance?" So I'm guessing it's actually, both of you could answer this, actually. It's a good question for both of you. I like it.
Yeah, just total transparency. When Easy messaged me about this debate, he said, "How do you feel about the what's going on in Iran right now?" I said, "I'm really not a fan of it, but I will debate to defend Trump's actions." So, if it was a Democrat doing this, I would probably be totally against it. Just being honest. But that's why I said in my close, it's not just blind following. Like, I will find reasons to justify why I support Trump's actions, and hopefully I'm right.
So my position would be exactly the same.
That tripped me out just now. Like, wait a minute.
That was my phone.
My position would be exactly the same if Kamala was the one that won the presidency and she did the exact same thing. My position on war is exactly the same regardless, and it's that it should only happen if the other side commits acts of aggression first. So, like, whether it's the economic aggression that we were talking about theoretically, or if it was they directly attacked us first, like Japan did on Pearl Harbor. That's in my opinion, that is the only justifiable reason to go to war, is if you are attacked first.
But not if your allies are attacked.
If your allies are attacked, it is okay to sell them weapons to defend themselves. Now that there's a caveat there, because it depends on if they are attacked because of they attacked the person first, or because of actions that they have done. towards certain groups, or if they were attacked just for existing, like Russia was with Ukraine. Or Russia and Ukraine.
All right. And next question comes in from Rowdy Gowdy. Always comes in with questions that have nothing to do with If you could upload your worldview via Neuralink to every baby with no side effects, would you?
If you could upload to every baby with no side effects, would you?
It's wild.
No. Because the world would be boring. Everybody would just be like me.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. People need to make their own decisions.
There, I like it. From Gimormit says, so you are saying we need to wait for the country that says when they get nukes, they will use them on us to bomb us before we can do anything?
Right.
I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with North Korea. North Korea said they were going to bomb us multiple times. And they haven't fucking done it. So, I mean, like, theoretically speaking, if somebody says that they're going to kill somebody else and doesn't do any actions towards it, should we throw them in prison for fucking thought crime for using their free speech? Same fucking situation.
But it's also like
Not do it.
you have two guys arguing at the bar. The guy that says, "Come on, hit me. As soon as you hit me, we're going to fight." And then the dude hits him and knocks him out in one punch. Like, you just got fucked up, buddy. So we'll just wait till they get a nuke. And then we'll fight back after they drop it in the middle of New York or LA. I don't think that's a good idea.
All right. And I guess that is it for the questions. All right. We still got 6 minutes there, but that we got through all of them. That's all, making sure all the super chats and all the questions. All right. Making sure. All right.
So there's a sunset clause in the Iranian nuclear deal between 2026 and 2031. Deal provides Iran a clear pathway to nuclear weapons as restrictions on its uranium enrichment and plutonium processing capacities end in 2026, between 2026 and 2031. Taking the sanctions away from them enables them, their terrorist regime, to build up stronger and stockpile weapons. So now what I'm reading this from is called United Against Nuclear Iran. So it's probably a biased website, but this is some of the reasons they're giving.
Even if I grant you that's true, that comes down to the fact of we can always renegotiate deals. That's the whole point of sunsetting deals, is to revisit them in the future. That's the same reason why a lot of laws in the United States are sunsetted, have expiration dates on them, is so they are revisited when they expire to see if they are still relevant. That's the whole purpose behind it.
Okay.
I mean, with 4 minutes left, let me think about what is the exact action by Iran that like crosses the line from like a manageable threat to something that required dropping some booms on them?
I think well, so what we're told is the primary thing is the nukes, and then the reason we attacked them is because Israel told us they had intel that they were gonna attack Israel and America, and so Trump was acting before they could act. That's what we're told. That's like the justification for why we did it. But even if that's not the case, I really think Trump has seen this happening for 47 years. He's tired of it. And while he's on his way, he's got 2 years left. He can't run again. Hopefully, well, maybe he can, but we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
but at the same time, let me ask you this. What war has ever been ended in 2 years that the United States has participated in?
We just did a 12-day war earlier this year.
Which war are you talking about?
The 12-day war. That was Israel. That was shit. What was that? We just bombed we just bombed that country a couple months ago in January, I think. The 12-day war with shit.
12-day war refers to something completely different, and that was when we let Israel go loose off the chain back when actually Israel was actually a strong country. And
it was
they
Iran.
almost.
Yeah, it was the 12-day war was Israel and Iran and America. We were bombing too.
Yeah, that was decades ago.
No, that was 2025.
I'm pretty sure me and you were talking about two different things then.
June 2025. That was when we were bombing them last year. We were bombing Iran last year.
You're talking about then after, like, we were, like, they said they decimated their nuclear program.
Yeah, when we bombed their nuclear facilities.
That's a bombing run. That's not even a war. I mean, that was one of the catalysts to cause this war. That's
okay. Well, you can't call that not a war and this a war.
We actually have boots on the ground in the area with having Navy ships in there blocking the Strait of Hormuz. It is officially a war.
Oh shit, we got
There's a big difference between sending in drones and putting in our nuclear warships in the area.
Fuck a button comes in with $5, says that's the American ethos. I know we always do everything we can to negotiate with terrorists.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
Fair. Member for 5 months, JS don't believe in nukes. That's over on your side there, JS.
Yeah.
And then also on your side, gifted a 1 JS Urban Adventures membership. Let's go.
They're just big bombs.
They're just really big booms. That's all.
Yep.
Shit. I've actually watched so many videos on that stuff too. It's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, with 50 seconds left, and wait, let me just look quickly, see if anything got put into here. Oh, we did get one more thing from Mo Rebuttal. Says, JS, do you think Iran is a threat to the U.S. because of their ideology? And if so, how soon should we start looking at the U.K. with its growing Islamic political power?
We're already looking at. Well, I mean, we're watching it happen and we're talking about it. They're denying it, that they're being overran. I think they're only up to 16% Muslim population. But yeah, that was one of my whole main things in my opening was the ideological differences. I don't know, man. When should we start looking at if they get taken over by Muslims, then we'll start looking at it. But they need to tighten up on their borders.
All right. Well, listen, that is going to wrap up the Q&A for tonight. Thank you to everyone in the live chat for all the questions, the engagement, the support. I can't express how much your support is what allows me to keep bringing you these debates, the entire Swords of Reason experience week after week. I appreciate every single one of you. Okay, and of course, huge thank you to our debaters for stepping into the arena tonight and sharpening their ideas in front of all of us. Before we move on, let me check real quick because I know you're on a time as well, JS. Are any of you planning to hang out for the open panel tonight?
I probably got 20 minutes.
Okay. And then Vigilante?
I'll stick around for a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think I'm ready yet.
All right, here's what's happening next. We're going to roll the debate outro song and video. It'll run for about 4 minutes. Perfect time. Hit the washroom, grab a drink, stretch your legs, do whatever you need to do before the Chaos and Chill open panel begins. During the outro, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for anyone who wants to join the open panel, test your ideas, continue the conversation on tonight's topic. Anyone is welcome to hop in. Just come, ready to think, question, debate. If you're coming to try to troll, spur, bring personal dramas, all that shit, you're just going to get muted, most likely booted real quick. So while you're ahead with this idea, just quit. Before we run the outro, one last reminder, make sure you subscribe to both debaters, okay? If you're enjoying these debates, also hit subscribe to the Speakeazy channel as well so you don't miss any upcoming Swords of Reason battles. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. This is where logic meets passion. All right, let's roll the outro, and I'll see you all in a few minutes for the Chaos and Chill.
Step into the circle where the echoes collide. Truth through the static, no place to hide. Iron tongue, sharpen fire in our breath. We dance with conviction on the edge of death. Your words are bullets, mine are storms. Ideas forged where lightning forms. No retreat, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through lies with steel precision. No faith, no fear, just raw collision. We clash our swords of reason. Facts burn brighter than a prophet's flame. Egos crumble, but the truth remains. Every scar, a mark of thought's crusade. In the battlefield of minds we've made. Speak your truth, but bear the cost. Every claim can still get lost in the war of voice and vision. Feel the friction. We clash our swords of reason. No silence left for indecision. Ideas break with loud precision. We clash our swords of reason. Strike me with logic, I'll bleed my proof. We cut through chaos to carve out truth. Let the sparks fly, let the echo scream. This is no debate, it's a metal dream. We clash our swords of reason. In the storm of thought's collision. Forged in fire, pure precision. We clash our swords of reason. Raise and blaze but never dies. No surrender, no retreat. In the war of words, we find a beat. Source of reason.
And we're back. Welcome in. Welcome in. Ugh. If anybody's got something specifically for JS, it'd be preferable you go first so that JS has time to answer you.
I know Premonition disagrees. Is going to disagree with me.
Oh shit! Everybody knows I don't disagree. JS is teamed up on right now.
Premonition, we don't hear you. Are you there?
Hang on.
Oh, okay.
I lifted up my camera, but I don't know how this all works yet.
No worries.
I like your avatar.
Thank you. I got help figuring out how to do it.
I needed all the help to figure out how to do it. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, because I hate seeing my face, and so yeah, I got help.
I hate seeing my face too.
So,
yeah, I do. I actually do have something I want to say. We need to, and I know this is going to offend people. We need to enlarge the scope here. I know this was only pretty. You, by the way, you guys did a great job, both of you. Great job. Good points. But this is bigger. Who I want to know who's actually running our country. I want to know why I watched a video today of our president pulling out a chair for the leader of the wall facers. I want to know.
Based Granny in the house.
he pulled out a chair for a Jewish person.
Gross.
He pulled out the chair and walked away, as though and he sat him, pushed in the chair for him, and then walked off like he was a butler. I also, when their leader speaks to us in English, he says different things than he does to his people in their language. And yesterday or the day before,
here's what she's referring to.
So he was being polite to a world leader. Man, that looked egregious, Prim.
They have no. Okay, the last time they sat together, our president was not sitting at the head of the table. They were. I'm sorry. In the United States of America, our president needs to be our president.
That wasn't the head of the table.
They sat across the table from one another the other day, and our president, instead of sitting in his normal position at the head of the table, sat across from this other man. Also, the other man announced in his language to his people that he gets daily reports from our vice president and president on how the whole operation is going. Now, why is this guy getting are the English and Germans and Spaniards and Arabians and the people in Dubai, are they all getting daily reports from our president and the vice president as well? And I'm not bagging on any of you guys. I am saying that, you know, something else. Lebanon, for instance, why are they hitting Lebanon?
Because Lebanon is a Hezbollah and the PLO have been in Lebanon since the beginning, and those are branches of Iran. Okay, Lebanon is like an arm of Iran that sits right on top of Israel.
Okay, I remember Beirut very well. I remember when they kaboomed our building,
our embassy,
our Marines.
They blew up a Marine billet.
Yeah, and a bunch of our Marines died in there. I remember that, and we blew them to smithereens. Okay. I couldn't believe that was Lebanon rebuilt. When they did an overview of Lebanon, I was astonished that they had rebuilt that city because it looked a lot like
Was it the king of Lebanon that personally flew bomber sorties?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm gonna look that up. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I don't know, but
I don't think anything you're saying is going to offend anybody. I think most people are agree with you. Here's something that'll offend people. You like Putin.
I like Putin.
You like Trump. Maybe now you don't like him, but you like.
I like Putin no matter what.
How do you not like Netanyahu? Here's what's going to offend people. Netanyahu's based as fuck. Him, Putin, and Trump should run the world.
I think it should just be us. I think they're both gay.
Well, how many Christians has the wall face leader eliminated?
Vigilante, sorry, real quick. Vigilante, while you're not talking, could you just mute? Because I think we're hearing your fan every now and then. I think that's what it is, anyways. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead, premonition. If I'm not mistaken, what premonition? What you were trying to say about the chair thing is that it makes our president look weak, like a waiter type of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I have never seen our president pull out a chair for somebody. They have people in there that do that for both of them. Okay.
I did actually see a lot of talk about this, so I'm not surprised Premonition brought this up. I did see, especially on X, like people were going nuts, basically saying, like, "What is this guy? A fucking waiter? What is he doing?" You know. So yeah, I've seen a lot of it.
Yeah, Let's Chief said in chat that it's that video was from like a year ago though.
I don't think pulling the chair back makes Trump look weak. That's
even if it wasn't a year ago, it's not compelling to me that all I saw was he's being polite to an ally, a world leader.
But what makes him look weak is just the incoherent mission parameters, and then just weird objectives. Like, we just did a blockade on a blockade, and all they're going to do is run Chinese boats through. We're not going to blow up or start boarding Chinese boats without major blowback.
Yeah, a blockade on a blockade on a blockade on a blockade. Yeah, every
I just don't. There's too many workarounds, and there've been a lot of workarounds because this ain't the first blockade.
Yeah, well, so let's blockade a block. That's kind of one of the things I was trying to get at was like, why are we blockading a blockade that makes literally no sense?
I get it. I mean, like, militarily speaking, it's a total thing. Like, the Romans were like the pimps at it. When you want to look at military history, blockading a blockade, it makes sense in certain tactical situations, but unless you're going to sink any boat that tries to run the blockade, and just a hard pass, like a no-go fucking zone, unless you exercise the blockade like that, then what's the point?
Well, there was Iran was blockading and controlling and letting the ships that they chose come through. Right. Now we blockade and we say, no, Iranian ships don't get through. Only the countries and ships that we decide to let through come through.
Exactly. But what I'm getting at
is no one gets through.
What I'm getting at is ships are getting through. Ships are going to get through. Like, ships that we don't want moving Iranian oil are going to get through via Russian and Chinese boats.
Well, no, we're going to allow
South Korea is an example.
We're going to allow those countries to get the oil from Iran, but we're not going to let Iranian boats, or we're going to control it basically. Like,
see, my point is the total war point, though. So if the point is to choke off their resource and their resource allocation, then why you better be ready to sink a couple South Korean boats.
Have we decided that we are in charge of the movement of all of the oil on the planet? Why do we?
Because we're the global hegemon.
Yeah, because we're in charge.
For this war. I'm against it for different reasons. I would be all about this shit if the gloves would come off and be like, dude, this is imperialism and we're gonna empire, and then you could sell it to me. But the way it's sold right now is It's convoluted.
I agree. It's a hard no for me.
I could totally get down with Empire. I could totally get down with like being the Hessians, the historical Hessians. Like, we'll bust up the Strait of Hormuz for you and lock it down so that PlayStation 5s and oil can run through to Europe. But Europe better be ready to pay us cost plus. Right now, there's nothing in it for us.
I agree with that. And our supposed allies are not coming. So,
I've told you guys, and I'm being
But
honest.
they're reaping the benefits of it.
yes.
I don't like war. I'm just being honest. I don't even like war. I'm just doing this to defend
Yeah.
Trump's actions. I know he's been fucking up a lot lately.
I get
He's
you.
done-
I got my hat around here somewhere, brother. Dude, I was just looking at that shit earlier, man.
And until this term is over, I mean, there's some things. I'm sure there's some things he could do that I'm gonna be like, nope, that's too bad. But I'm gonna try to justify his actions and defend him while he's in office, because I voted for him. I put him in there, and I'm not one of these people that just turn on somebody because they do one thing I don't like. Everybody does that. Everybody so blows to and fro in the wind, and I'm just gonna try to support him. And that's it.
I want to support him, but I'm taking the different path. I bought this hat the second he announced he was running in 2024. Like the second he announced, I was online buying my shit and a Trumpy fucking bear. And when I see all of the original mega characters getting blasted by the mainstream media, by the fake news, and then when I see all the anti-Trumpers, now the new face of new mega, and Trump is the golden boy, the Shapiros of the world. Go back and watch all the stuff Shapiro was saying about our boy. And now all of a sudden, dude,
he loves
is fucking, yeah. So for me, right there, while I don't have all the evidence or intelligence of nefarious activity and nonsensory going on, it's fucked. It's clearly something is going on that I haven't quite gotten to the bottom of yet, and time will reveal it. Like we're in a revealing. This is the great revealing.
And I'll accept. I may end up with egg in 2 years. I could totally end up with egg on my face. In 5 years, I could look back at this and say, "Damn, I was wrong about that." Trump.
Well, I want to remain optimistic because I realized looking back, I've thrown out too many red and black pills about the situation, and there is a chance that Trump can make Trump magic happen, but certain things need to happen tick and quick. For one of them, he's got to get some kind of ceasefire in place, and he's got to enforce a ceasefire on both sides, like unequivocally. If that doesn't happen, if he can't get that oil pumping and then PlayStation 5s moving across the strait, all the work that has been done, all of the economic warfare that we have supported, that like when he started dumping tariffs left and right on people, yes, fucking tariff that shit. Get our purchasing power back, get our global standing back, get our house in order, so that so many people quit, quite frankly, stealing from us.
Do you think the other countries of the world respect us more now because of the tariffs?
I think they were actually respecting us more because of the tariffs, and they were playing ball. I think that this undermines that. I think that not having a coherent military strategy or mission is the most undermining thing when you platformed to be the adult voice in the room. And I will give Trump this one cope, this one yeah, you did say that. He made it very clear from day one, and I've had it thrown in my face several times, that Iran is a no-go zone. Like, if Iran does X or Y, we're riding on them. He's made that very clear since day one, and he thinks that Iran crossed that line. I can disagree with that at the personal level all day, but I can't call him a liar for it. if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, like the whole point of the tariffs was to make deals with people, right? What deals has Trump made?
He made all kinds of deals out of the tariffs. He made like multi-trillion-dollar deals.
Yeah, something like 50 countries
With
came
who?
to the table like within a week.
Name a country, bro. From the east to Europe, name a country.
I mean,
We were
are
bent.
there-
You
is there a
do
single-
realize we were bent over the table.
I clearly have to fix my thing. Sorry, Rowdy and Leafy there. Usually it does the boop when someone pops in. Didn't even make the sound for you guys. Sorry about that. I don't know how long you were back there.
No worries. I'm
we're
just
good.
I was just flabbergasted that he said get the PlayStation 5s. Trent, bro, I had your back on all the other streams, but it's about getting PlayStation 5s here?
No,
like I
to
just
Europeans.
I can't support that. If the argument is
it's Europe.
open up the straight so that the kids can get their PS5s,
the Eastern European
I don't care if
bros
it's
want
closed if
PlayStation
that's
5.
the excuse. Yeah, no,
they can't
I
afford
can't,
Xbox
man.
over there, man. They're busy fighting Russians.
That's bad.
Hey,
I was
PS5 is better than Xbox, but
it's also
No,
better
but-
than
but for
oil,
real.
right? To all those kids, right? It's better than food. Is that what
The
is that what we're
PS5
saying?
is an allegory. A PS5 is an allegory for all of the goods that get shipped from North Korea, or excuse
To
me,
be clear-
South Korea.
Okay, I get it.
China,
Okay, so
Japan, Taiwan.
you're using it as like a colloquial term with the people that you're trying to connect to like convince that we should open it up. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, we got to
Yeah, it should
transport
be
the
open.
stuff.
I mean,
But-
Donald
but-
Trump's
Okay.
mission, he
Okay.
wants the strait open. Donald Trump doesn't
Okay.
want the strait shut down. I think.
I mean, could have fooled me.
I think that
I
he also-
misinterpreted
I think
it
that he
as
also
you
has a lot
needed
of
to get the
sycophants
PS5s
around
here. Yeah.
I think he's got
No,
a lot of
but-
sycophants around him that gave him bad strategic advice, because everything I said was going to happen. We had this debate or similar debates about a year ago when we were bombing the nuclear facility, and I had said then, if this escalates more and more and more, that Iran's going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Any fucking retard could have seen this coming from a mile away. And
Right,
what are
and
you
that's the
talking about
question.
when
That's the
people-
question I have for you. So if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. So you got to do that. Told you that after he bombed the Iran nuclear facilities, everything was obliterated. They're back to the Stone Age. Nothing
not
to
happy
worry
about
about.
it.
Then 10 months later, he's telling you they got 60% enriched uranium.
Yeah, no, it sounds
When
like-
did he lie to you? Who's lying to you at this point?
They have
well,
it. They have
at
it
this
stored.
point-
Just because we
at this
destroyed their
point, we're
plants
getting our
doesn't
in-
mean we destroyed their stockpile.
No, they
They hid
told
it in
us.
the mountains.
No, Trump said he destroyed it all.
He said
He said it was
obliterated.
successful.
He said he obliterated their facilities where they manufacture it.
He said it was
Well,
a
there's a
successful
lot.
mission.
There's a lot more going on there. I mean, again,
They have it hidden in
my
mountains. In the
defense.
j-
My defense is,
Yeah.
I think that Trump believed that red line was crossed. I believe that he's surrounded by sycophants and people that might not have America first or even the world first in their ideologies. I think he thought it was going to blow over smoother. I think he thought that the Iranian people were going to be happy and revolutionary and not double down on their own form of nationalism. And I think he relied too much on the old swamp he was supposed to be draining out.
I'm reading now that the JCPOA did not allow for anytime, anywhere searches by the IAEA or whatever. It didn't allow for anytime, anywhere searches. They had to give a 24-day notice. 24 days gives Iran plenty of time to move their uranium to what's the country that they're moving it to now?
And I don't know. I'm not going to take what any of the talking heads say as the gospel.
No, I want to go with what Trump said. And he said, according to reports from June 2025 and early 2026, Trump stated that U.S. airstrikes obliterated or
it's not
completely,
just him.
totally destroyed Iran's nuclear program and facilities, including major enrichment.
Oh, that's what the intelligence czar was saying, Tulsi Gabbard, both times that they weren't ready. My again, back to, I think that Trump got non-American intelligence from NGOs, which are the best spy masters on earth. and intelligence gatherers if we're going to be fair and impartial, because they hold on. I'm not. No one's going to like my answer. You or the pros. We moved after Bibby told him whatever. He went against the advice from his own intelligence.
But I don't like the on the inside.
And that's where things get convoluted for me. But I can't assume that Iran didn't
Rowdy,
have
we hear
nuclear
you whispering.
material. I can't assume that they didn't have nuclear materials.
But Trench, have we not heard this before? Didn't we hear that they had yellow
we've
cake uranium and weapons of mass destruction before we went into Afghanistan?
We've been hearing it for 50 years, and I'm not afraid of nukes. And North Korea got the nuke. Pakistan's got nukes. India's got nukes. All kinds of countries that were adversaries acquired nuclear weapons while they were screaming that they were going to turn New York, London, and Tel Aviv into a glass parking lot, and it hasn't happened. So I'm a firm believer in MAD, mutually assured destruction, that nuclear nations don't war with each other.
So we should let them have nukes.
I don't think it's necessarily a strategic good idea to just let anybody have nukes either.
That contradicts what you just said.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's more.
Guys, so.
I'm sorry. It's a nuanced situation. I'm not.
Oh, sorry. 1 sec, Trench. 1 sec. JS, let everybody know where they can find you.
JS Urban Adventures. We do streams Friday night, always at VK. Always having a great time at VK. Saturday nights, we watch UFC fights. We hang out all night in the Discord. We argue, we drink, and we yell at each other. Trench, just so you know, you're still always welcome back. I know I got short with you, and I said some mean words one time, but that's just, we were
kept me away from you, bro.
Okay, well, we were just hazing you. We do that to all the new people, so. But I probably said some things I shouldn't have said, but maybe I drank too much. But anyway, and we're working our way through the whole Bible in the mornings when I get off work. We do short Bible studies, I guess. It's more me. I'm just reading the Bible and I'm learning about it and looking stuff up. And we're in Ezekiel, right? Actually, I think we're almost done with Ezekiel. So we're almost done with the Old Testament. So going through the whole Bible beginning to end. And the debates, I don't mean to shout out another group's thing, but I'll be in the war debate. So will Vigilante. So you guys can vote for me there when that starts up. And
yep, that's going to be interesting.
No, man, I've been on the social media less and less. One of my old patrol leaders from Iraq got some really bad cancer, so I've been trying to play Call of Duty and shit more with him.
Okay. And
what's that got to do with anything?
You could definitely promote that kind of stuff. I'm totally okay with it. I'm actually going to be because they've said it until the finals people can cover all this stuff. So I'm actually going to do like a little series covering all the smaller debates of the World War debaters, right? Like your guys' debates and stuff. I'm going to do a little series covering those. So promote it.
There's a bunch of us that
try to do it. Just so you know, try to do it within the first 48 hours because they're leaving the voting up for 48 hours.
Okay.
A bunch of us from VK and from your channel who come here. A lot of us are going to be in that. So.
Listen, I only didn't do it because I wasn't going to give them my address. I didn't know I could put fake one. If I knew I could put a fake one, I definitely would. I would have put the fucking police station address.
Not today, feds.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for the debate, Vigilante. Thanks for hosting Easy. I'll see you guys later.
Thanks for coming. Do you need me to end your side for you, Jazz?
If I can't do it, I can't do it. If I just hit end stream,
you can do it on your side. I'm just some people like me to do it for them, but if you can do it, go ahead.
I can do it. I just can't figure out how to get out of this call. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, look at good luck in World War debate, buddy.
Yep.
I'll be rooting for you.
Good luck to me too. You're gonna lose. So. All right, later.
Just remember that JS
from
judo.
The bracket that I've seen, we don't debate for. We wouldn't debate for a fucking while. We wouldn't be debating until like towards the end.
They said in the contract thing that they could change the brackets at any time. They could reorganize the brackets. So
Okay.
That sounds
Yeah.
shifty as
we'll
fuck.
see. But anyway, later, guys.
Later. Thank you for coming. Good job.
Well, he's gone, so now I got to be pro fucking bombing Iran now.
Trench, did you say that? Because I couldn't see. Was it you that said you have a friend that you're sitting with?
Oh, he's
Who
just
has-
playing video games. He's
What? No, yeah,
he's
I get
fucked
it.
up. So
I
sometimes you